Chapter 1458. The great art of reincarnation was indeed worthy of being ranked fourth among the 3,000 great Das. Summoning the wheel of reincarnation was the most profound part of the great art of reincarnation. However, Lin Feng's cultivation wasn't high enough, so he could only summon the wheel of reincarnation by burning his lifespan. Moreover, Lin Feng had only cultivated half of the great art of reincarnation, so he could only summon a phantom image of the wheel of reincarnation. However, even so, the wheel of reincarnation was so powerful that Lin Feng found it hard to believe. What kind of divine ability is this? It's so powerful. Jun Tiandi and the others cried out in horror. Quick, follow me into the magic lotus. As long as we enter the magic lotus, that mysterious wheel won't be able to hurt us. Mose Tianzuan shouted loudly. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Immediately after, the six of them rushed into the magic lotus. The wheel of reincarnation started spinning again. Waves of destructive power bombarded the magic lotus. The magic lotus was sent flying. However, the wheel of reincarnation wasn't able to break through the magic lotus's defense. The magic lotus was very strange. It had extremely strong offensive and defensive power, so breaking through the magic lotus's defense was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. The wheel of reincarnation started spinning again, tearing the void apart. Lin Feng swept everyone into the crack in the void and quickly left. A heaven-defying existence like the wheel of reincarnation consumed too much of one's spiritual power. Therefore, Lin Feng could only control it 3 or 4 times before his spiritual power was exhausted. It was too difficult to use the wheel of reincarnation to kill Mose Tianzuan and the others who were hiding in the magic lotus. The crack in the void instantly closed, and Lin Feng and the others disappeared without a trace. At this time, Mose Tianzuan and the others flew out of the magic lotus, but their faces were pale. Every one of them had suffered serious injuries. I didn't think that he would have such a trick up his sleeve. He made all our efforts go to waste. I'm so angry. Mose Tianzuan's expression was extremely gloomy. Jun Tiandi said, This kid's cultivation hasn't reached the divine realm, but he actually has such powerful strength. It's really unbelievable. I feel that his lifespan should be around 50,000 years. He just burned 30,000 years of his lifespan, so he can no longer use that divine ability. As long as we can block him again, this kid will definitely die. Said Mo Zixia. Let's use our own strength to look for Lin Feng, especially on the way back to the Dragon Gate region. We need to send more people. Heavenly Emperor Jun, Mu Qianzong, and the others nodded. Mo Zixi looked at the weapon spirit of the Divine Dark Tower and said, A crack has appeared in the space. Try to repair it as much as possible. The weapon spirit of the Divine Tower of Darkness was unable to leave the Divine Tower of Darkness. Naturally, it couldn't follow them to search for Lin Feng. However, the weapon spirit of the Divine Tower of Darkness had the strength of a Divine Realm cultivator, so it could repair the broken space. Don't worry, I will repair the spatial crack as soon as possible. No one will be able to enter the miniature world as they wish. The weapon spirit of the Divine Dark Tower said. Then, the group quickly dispersed and sent out their own troops to search for Lin Feng's whereabouts. 300 miles away, in a cave, Lin Feng sat cross-legged and hurriedly used his heavenly fire to burn the curse energy that had entered his body. Although he had lost 30,000 years of his lifespan, Lin Feng didn't feel any heartache. Lin Feng knew that once he broke through to the divine realm, he would have millions or even tens of millions of years of lifespan. 30,000 years of lifespan wasn't worth mentioning. Now, he was only concerned about the curse energy in his body. The curse energy was very strange. It was like maggots in one's bones. It was very difficult to get rid of it. Even with his heavenly fire, it was very difficult to refine the curse energy. What a curse technique. It's really strange. It's a silent attack. I don't even know how Mo Zixi managed to injure me. Lin Feng was still burning the cursing strength in his body. He was thinking. He used all 3 heavenly fires and spent a total of 10 days to refine the curse power bit by bit. Only then did Lin Feng let out a long breath. Big brother. As soon as he woke up, Lin Feng heard little Yao Yao's voice. Lin Feng opened his eyes and saw little Yao Yao standing beside him. The little girl's face was still very pale. This was caused by the collapse of her blood and qi. Lin Feng hugged little Yao Yao and said, "Little girl, it's okay. With Big Brother here, no one will be able to bully you in the future." Little Yao Yao nodded her head heavily, but then tears fell from her eyes. "Little girl, what's wrong? Why are you crying?" Lin Feng's heart ached as he asked. "Uncle is dead. They killed him. Little Yao Yao will never be able to see him again," Little Yao Yao said in a sorrowful voice. Although little Yao Yao was naive, she was different from ordinary children. She was the daughter of the Lunar Emperor. Thus, even though she was young, she was very intelligent and understood many things. Lin Feng wiped away little Yao Yao's tears and said, "Even though uncle has passed away, he definitely wanted little Yao Yao to live happily. Little Yao Yao, you have to be happy, okay?" Little Yao Yao snuggled up in Lin Feng's arms and nodded slightly. Lin Feng asked, "Do you know where uncle passed away?" "A lake. A very, very big lake. Uncle said that father went there and lived there for a while," Little Yao Yao said. Little Yao Yao's body was very weak, so she quickly curled up in Lin Feng's arms and fell asleep. Lin Feng took out the soul-transforming fruit. Then, Lin Feng completely refined the fruit and sent all of its energy into little Yao Yao's body. Lin Feng's body was now being transformed by the power of destiny. In the future, Lin Feng would smoothly break through to the God realm. He wouldn't need the soul-transforming fruit. However, the soul-transforming fruit was very important to little Yao Yao. The origin energy it contained could help her recover quickly. After absorbing the origin energy, little Yao Yao's pale face finally regained some color. "Duzu, what do you think of what little Yao Yao said?" Lin Feng asked. Duzu said, "The lake she mentioned is very likely the Southern Wasteland Lake, right? It's the only lake in the exiled world that's relatively large. As for the fact that the Lunar Emperor lived there for a while, that doesn't seem right. The Lunar Monarch had been fighting for years. How could he have the time to live in the Southern Wasteland Lake? Unless the Lunar Monarch went to the Southern Wasteland Lake before he died and buried himself there." Lin Feng was shocked. If that's the case, doesn't that mean that the Lunar Emperor's inheritance is buried somewhere in the Southern Wasteland Lake? Duzu nodded. "That's indeed possible. If it's true, then the Southern Wasteland Lake is worth a visit. If we can find the place where the Lunar Emperor buried himself, we'll be rich." The Lunar Emperor's imperial weapon is the Lunar Emperor Sword. That's a top-tier imperial weapon. Even if the Nine Demons painting isn't divided into 9 parts, it might not be as powerful as the Lunar Emperor Sword. If we can obtain the Lunar Emperor Sword, killing gods and Buddhas will be a piece of cake. Even the magic lotus can be torn apart by the Lunar Emperor Sword. Chapter 1459. The Southern Wasteland Lake stretched as far as the eye could see, with surging waves. This place was very dangerous, because at the bottom of the unfathomably deep lake, there were many powerful vicious beasts. Some vicious beasts even had the power to destroy the heavens. Especially in the depths of the Southern Wasteland Lake, these terrifying creatures would often appear. And now, Lin Feng, little Yao Yao, Duzu, and Wang Zhoming had arrived at the Southern Wasteland Lake. Lin Feng hugged little Yao Yao, and the little girl hugged Lin Feng's neck and said, "Big brother, uncle died in this lake." Lin Feng rubbed little Yao Yao's head. The little girl's memory was very strong, and she could actually tell that this was a place she had been to before. As an empress, she might have some abilities that Lin Feng did not know about, and this ability allowed little Yao Yao to distinguish many things. Duzu said, "In this vast and boundless Southern Wasteland Lake, if the corpse fell into it, I'm afraid it would have already been buried in the stomach of the vicious beasts." Lin Feng nodded, feeling a little sad in his heart. Zhou Shijun had left a deep impression on Lin Feng, and he was a person worth befriending. But unfortunately, he had died tragically here. "Brother Zhou, I hope you can rest in peace." Lin Feng took out a jug of wine and scattered it in the Southern Wasteland Lake. It seems like the people from the Divine Tower of Darkness did not know that the Lunar Emperor had buried himself in the Southern Wasteland Lake. Otherwise, the people from the Divine Tower of Darkness would have definitely sent people to search the Southern Wasteland Lake. Duzu said. Wang Zhoming said, "Indeed, No one in the Divine Tower of Darkness talked about the southern wasteland lake. Although Zhou Shijun and the little princess were found here, the higher-ups of the Divine Tower of Darkness only thought that Zhou Shijun wanted to escape into the southern wasteland lake to avoid danger. Yes, Lin Feng nodded. They went all the way into the southern wasteland lake and found some cultivators. Wang Zhoming said, the southern wasteland lake is very rich in resources. For example, there is a plant at the bottom of the lake called the profound blue vine, which has high medicinal value. Many pharmacies buy it at an extremely high price. So many people take the risk to enter the southern wasteland lake to collect this profound blue vine to sell it. Of course, there are many other resources at the bottom of the lake, which is worth the risk. The poison ancestor replied, humans die for wealth, and birds die for food. This is a principle that has never changed since ancient times. Calm, oh. Just as they rushed out of the lake, a gray flood dragon followed closely behind. The gray flood dragon was about 300 meters long. It swallowed everyone in one gulp and then dived back into the lake, disappearing without a trace. Lin Feng could not help but sigh. Ordinary cultivators really don't have it easy. Duzu said, mortals have a hard time surviving, but cultivators have a hard time cultivating. Mortals want to have a full meal, while cultivators want to have cultivation resources. Perhaps this is the 100 forms of life. Lin Feng muttered to himself. 3 days later, Lin Feng and the others entered the central region of the lake. There were very few cultivators here, and even if they flew for a long time, they might not necessarily see other cultivators. This was because this place was more dangerous than the outer regions. Many people would not come here to take the risk. Roar. The roar shook the heavens and the earth, and a vicious beast rushed out of the lake. This vicious beast had 3 heads. The left head was like a lion's head, the right head was like a crocodile's head, the left head was like a shark's head, and the body was like a python's. It was Lin Feng's first time seeing such a strange, vicious beast. This vicious beast was very terrifying. With a whip of its tail, it shattered the void. Furthermore, all 3 heads could spit out different kinds of attacks. The lion's head spat out fireballs containing destructive power. The crocodile's head spat out lightning attacks. The shark's head spat out a dense number of water arrows. Wow, we're in for a treat tonight. Duzu shouted when he saw this vicious beast, and immediately pounced on it. Although this vicious beast's cultivation was very strong, it was not Duzu's match. Duzu killed it in 3 moves. Don't touch it with your poison, or it won't be able to eat it, Lin Feng said. Hee hee, young master, are you afraid of poison? Duzu shouted strangely. Lin Feng said, I'm not afraid, but little Yao Yao and Wang Zhongming are. Duzu said, hee hee, young master, you might not know this, but this little girl is not simple. She has the direct bloodline of an emperor, and the emperor's blood in her body can neutralize poison. That's why she's not afraid of poison. Wang Zhongming wanted to cry, but no tears came out. He smiled bitterly and said, Duzu, please do me a favor. Seeing that I've served you with all my heart, please don't poison me to death. Duzu scolded, look at how useless you are. Carry this monster, and I'll let you guys have a taste of my cooking tonight. When night fell, Lin Feng and the others landed on an island and started a bonfire. Duzu began to take out all kinds of condiments from his storage ring. Lin Feng did not know when Duzu had bought them. Duzu said, cultivators must treat themselves well. Either they don't eat anything, or they eat the most delicious things. That's why cultivators should practice good cooking skills. Lin Feng smiled and said, what kind of crooked logic is that? Some people are like ascetics. Chapter 1460. The illusory island was suspended in mid-air. It was an island in the sky. Some people tried to get close to the island, but halfway through, their bodies were crushed and they died. Many people were terrified. There were obviously terrifying restrictive spells around the island. Maybe we can only enter the island after it appears, said a cultivator. A cultivator said, no one rashly entered the range of the island, because it was very likely that they would suffer a calamity. More and more cultivators formed groups and entered the depths of the lake, heading towards the illusory island. Maybe it was because of the illusory island, but even the ferocious beasts in the depths of the southern wasteland lake had become quiet. Many people were worried that they would be attacked by ferocious beasts, but after entering the depths of the southern wasteland lake, they realized that they hadn't encountered any ferocious beasts. It seems that this island is related to the Moon Emperor. Lin Feng held Yao Yao in his arms and stood outside the illusory island. Yao Yao's body was still shining, and she seemed to have a special connection with the island. "Big brother." Yao Yao heard a voice. Yao Yao whispered, "What voice?" Lin Feng was shocked. "The birth of the moon, and I can't hear anything else." Yao Yao said, "What does that mean?" Lin Feng was puzzled and looked at Du Zhu. The Moon Emperor's most powerful technique was the moon creation incantation. Could it be related to this? Asked Du Zhu. The Moon Emperor could be considered one of the most powerful great emperors in history. The Tian creation mantra he created contained the power of extreme yin and the power of creation in the world. Everything could be divided into yin and yang, and the Moon Emperor represented the pinnacle of the yin path. The power of creation was second only to destiny, karma, and reincarnation. From this, one could see how powerful the Tao created by the combination of the Tao of extreme yin and the power of creation was. The moon creation incantation was unparalleled in the world. If one could obtain this peerless technique, it would be terrifying. There were also rumors that the Moon Emperor and another great emperor, the Sun Emperor, had joined forces to create a technique that could reverse the past and the present. It was called the Moon Secret Technique. The first half of this ability was the Great Yin Creation Art. The second half was the Sun Creation Art created by the Sun Monarch. Yin and Yang formed a cycle. It was rumored that the power of this secret art of Tai Yin and Tai Yang surpassed the Monarch art and reached the level of immortal art. It was one of the most powerful offensive divine arts. Once successfully cultivated, one would be able to fight against Khanate saint spirits. Of course, no one knew whether the rumors were true or not. The only thing they knew was that the inheritance of the Moon Emperor was definitely unprecedented. Time passed slowly. The illusory island became more and more real, gradually revealing itself. One day later, everyone could see the jungle and ferocious beasts on the island. 2 days later, everyone could hear the roar of beasts coming from the island. 3 days later, the island finally began to appear. It floated in mid-air, surrounded by golden light, as if it had turned into an eternal island that would last for eternity. This island was really too mysterious. It gave off an ancient aura. This shocked many people. They didn't know the origin of the island, so when they felt the ancient aura, they couldn't calm down. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Many people soared into the sky and flew toward the island. Then, they disappeared into the island. Lin Feng and the others didn't stop either. They also entered the island. There were many ferocious beasts on the island, and they were abnormally strong. They started fighting with the cultivators who entered the island. Look, it's a 9-legged, 3-tailed scorpion. It's a creature from the immemorial era. I heard that it was extinct during the immemorial war. I didn't think that such a ferocious beast would appear on this island. A cultivator pointed into the distance. There were more than 10 scorpions there, and they were attacking a group of cultivators. Oh my God, is that a 50,000-year-old king herb? In another direction, a cultivator cried out in alarm as he discovered a palm-sized, nearly transparent spiritual grass. It was called the Xinling herb. It was extremely rare. It was 50,000 years old, which showed how precious it was. However, the Xinling herb was protected by a golden caruncled green-eyed snake. The golden caruncled green-eyed snake was about 200 meters long. It had wings, and its body gave off a destructive aura. It was abnormally terrifying. However, in order to obtain the Xinling herb, many people rushed towards the golden caruncled green-eyed snake. More and more cultivators were killed by the golden caruncled green-eyed snake, but it didn't scare off the other cultivators. Instead, more and more cultivators rushed towards it. Lin Feng and the others continued going deeper into the island. Before long, they saw a group of terrifying creatures. They were gigantic spiders that were more than 10 meters tall. There were so many of them that it was impossible to tell how many there were. They moved together to kill cultivators. Many cultivators were killed by the spiders and became food for the spiders. This island was too dangerous. There were ferocious beasts everywhere. Someone discovered a cave abode. Suddenly, a piece of news spread quickly. This alarmed too many people. Lin Feng was also astonished. Could it be that the Lunar Emperor's cave had been found? If that was the case, it would be too shocking. The group of people flew in the direction of the cave residence. "This cave is mine." A cold voice sounded from afar. A strong cultivator had arrived and was looking at all the cultivators. Master of the poison region, Mu Qianzong. Lin Feng stood in the distance and narrowed his eyes when he saw this person. Mu Qianzong's arrival shocked everyone. No one dared to snatch a treasure from a master of a region unless they were tired of living. Mu Qianzong broke the seal and entered the cave. However, the cave was empty. This was not the Lunar Emperor's cave. Mu Qianzong's expression turned ugly when he found nothing. He left gloomily. Lin Feng summoned his godly state avatar and asked it to take care of little Yao Yao. Then, Lin Feng and Du Zhu followed Mu Qianzong as he left. Now that Mu Qianzong was not with Mo Tianzuan and the others, Lin Feng guessed that they must have split up to look for him. The sudden appearance of the island in the southern wasteland lake had also alarmed Mu Qianzong. Perhaps he was closer to the southern wasteland lake, so he had come earlier. Lin Feng felt that this was a good opportunity to kill Mu Qianzong. Du Zhu also wanted to kill Mu Qianzong because Mu Qianzong was an expert in using poison. Even his source energy had turned into a highly toxic source energy. If he killed Mu Qianzong and absorbed his source energy, his cultivation would improve greatly. However, Mu Qianzong was a level 10 empty God Realm cultivator. He was only one step away from entering the Divine Fire Realm. Because he was an expert in using poison, even Divine Fire Realm cultivators were not willing to provoke Mu Qianzong. It won't be easy to kill him. Even if a strong cultivator of this level is defeated, it's still very easy to escape. We need to think of a foolproof plan, Du Zhu said, then set up a large array to trap him. Don't let him have a chance to escape. Lin Feng looked at a mountain in the distance. It looked like a dragon and a tiger were fighting. Upon closer inspection, it was an evil dragon and a Mao Wu. Mao Wu was not a tiger, but it looked like one. Mao Wu was a terrifying beast that was comparable to Qiong Qi, Tao Wu, Hun Dun, and Tao Tai. According to the classic of mountains and seas, the Lin family had a rare beast that was as big as a tiger. It had a long tail and was called Mao Wu. It could travel thousands of miles in a day. Another strange tales of gods and demons. Demonic beasts also had records of Mao Wu. There was a strange beast in the southern part of the divine continent that looked like a tiger. It had a long tail and was called the king of all beasts. Chapter 1461. Using the power of the terrain to set up a large array could often increase the power of the array to the maximum. Furthermore, some terrains contain terrifying power. However, these powers could not be controlled by others. If they could, they would be able to cause unimaginable damage. Coincidentally, Lin Feng had this ability. The evil dragon and Chu Wu fought. These were two powerful vicious beasts, and the underground contained terrifying power. Lin Feng asked Du Zhu to follow Mu Qianzong. 2 hours later, they accidentally revealed their whereabouts to Mu Qianzong. Then, they took the opportunity to lure Mu Qianzong over. Lin Feng flew over and set up a large array. Du Zhu followed Lin Feng's instructions and followed Mu Qianzong. 2 hours later, when they were passing through a mountain range, the poison ancestor saw dozens of cultivators passing by. He rushed over and shouted, "I opened this road, and I planted these trees. If you want to pass through, you'll have to pay the toll." The poison ancestor had directly become a great bandit. When the cultivators saw that Du Zhu was alone, they immediately sneered, "He's courting death. Let's attack together and kill him." Boom. Once the battle broke out, the poison ancestor naturally took care of them very easily. He then stole their storage rings. Mu Qianzong, who had already flown more than 10 miles, sensed the battle in the distance. Thus, Mu Qianzong looked in the direction of the battle. A godly state expert could see the frequency of a mosquito's wings even from more than 10 miles away. This showed how powerful a godly state expert's eyesight was. When Mu Qianzong turned to look, Du Zhu had already left. Thus, Mu Qianzong did not see Du Zhu's face. He only saw his back. Suddenly, Mu Qianzong looked surprised. He felt that the back of that person was somewhat familiar. Where have I seen him before? Mu Qianzong tried to recall. Suddenly, Mu Qianzong's eyes lit up. It's him. That expert who specializes in poisons by Linfeng's side? Linfeng also came to the southern desolate lake? Of course, Mu Qianzong could not be sure if that person was Du Zhu. After all, he only saw Du Zhu's back and did not see Du Zhu's face. Therefore, Mu Qianzong decided to follow that silhouette. He wanted to see if it was Linfeng's poisoner. The poison ancestor was an old monster-level existence, so he naturally knew that he couldn't reveal any abnormalities right now. Thus, he didn't seem to suspect that someone was following him along the way. He robbed anyone he saw, and even flirted with a few beautiful female cultivators along the way. Mu Qianzong could not help but roll his eyes. What kind of people were these? How could such people become deity realm experts? Although he looked down on Du Zhu, Mu Qianzong could already confirm that the person he was following was the poison expert by Linfeng's side. In the end, Du Zhu entered the mountain range where Linfeng had set up the formation. Mu Qianzong hid in the outer regions and saw Linfeng resting in the mountain range. Mu Qianzong was extremely cautious. He did not enter the mountain range. He only observed in the dark. Very good. Little brat, wait for your death. Mu Qianzong secretly crushed a few jade talismans. At the same time, Mose Tianzuan, Jun Tiandi, and Mo Zixi received Linfeng's message. They quickly rushed towards the southern desolate lake. Mu Qianzong continued to hide. That guy is too cautious. He didn't come in. What should we do now? Du Zhu frowned slightly and said. Linfeng smiled and said, I already guessed that Mu Qianzong would not enter the mountain range easily. He would wait in the outer regions. Thus, I set up a void teleportation formation. If he doesn't come in, I'll teleport him in. Ha ha ha, you're really good. You've thought of everything. Du Zhu smiled. Linfeng activated the void teleportation formation. Although the void teleportation formation emitted very weak waves of energy, Mu Qianzong still sensed it. Thus, when he felt the strong waves of energy, Mu Qianzong's face suddenly changed. Oh no, I've been tricked. They purposely lured me here. Mu Qianzong's face darkened. He wanted to tear open the void teleportation formation and leave. For a strong cultivator like Mu Qianzong, tearing open the void teleportation formation and leaving was a very simple matter. However, since Linfeng had planned to use the void teleportation formation to trap and kill Mu Qianzong, he had already calculated everything. He had set up a void teleportation formation to seal the void teleportation formation. If Mu Qianzong wanted to tear open the void teleportation formation, he would first have to break through his void teleportation formation. This was much more difficult than tearing open the void teleportation formation. Mu Qianzong did not manage to tear open the void teleportation formation and was teleported into the mountain range. Linfeng smiled at Mu Qianzong and said, Territorial Lord Mu, long time no see. How have you been? Mu Qianzong looked at Linfeng sinisterly and said, Boy, do you think that you can kill me just because you teleported me into the void teleportation formation? I know that you have extraordinary skills, but you only have 20,000 years of life left. You don't have enough life left to burn. You can't use any of your divine powers. You don't pose much of a threat to me. Even if you have a level 7 ethereal god helping you, you can't kill me. Ha 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 ha. Linfeng suddenly laughed and said, Mu Qianzong, you think too highly of yourself? Today, I'll kill you and let you know how stupid your idea was. As soon as he finished speaking, Linfeng's hands formed a series of seals. Thousands of seals were sent into the void teleportation formation. Loud rumbling sounds could be heard. It was earth-shattering. Many people were alarmed and many cultivators flew over from all directions. Look, it's the Poison Region's Lord, Mu Qianzong. Hey, who are the other two people? It looks like they're going to fight Mu Qianzong. They dare to fight Mu Qianzong? Is this a battle of the gods? That black-robed cultivator should be a godly state expert. Who's the other boy? He's so young. Isn't he courting death by participating in this battle? Many people exclaimed. Although Linfeng was the 13th region lord, this was the southern wilderness region. Moreover, his rise had been too short, so no one knew who Linfeng was. When everyone saw that Linfeng was also participating in this battle, they naturally did not think that Linfeng would be able to survive. Roar! The roar shook the heavens and the earth. One of the mountains turned into an evil dragon. One of the mountains turned into dust. One on the left and one on the right. They bared their fangs and brandished their claws at Mu Qianzong. What kind of technique is this? How did two mountains turn into two ferocious beasts? Many people looked at each other in dismay. They were extremely shocked and moved. That boy is an expert in void teleportation formations? Is that why he's participating in this battle? Many people muttered in their hearts. Duzu shouted, Mu Qianzong, I'm going to devour your poison source today. Once I devour you, my cultivation will recover quickly. Nine Demons Portrait, out! Lin Feng shouted and took out the Nine Demons portrait. At the same time, the Death God armor covered his entire body. Isn't the Nine Demons portrait the most precious treasure of the Dragon Gate region's region lord? Could that cultivator be the region lord of the Dragon Gate region, Lin Feng? What? He's the region lord of the Dragon Gate region? The region lord of the Dragon Gate region is only in his 20s? Rumor has it that the region lord of the Dragon Gate region is indeed a young man, but I thought that he was only relatively young compared to the other 12 region lords who have cultivated for millions of years. I always thought that the region lord of the Dragon Gate region would have cultivated for thousands, or even tens of thousands of years. I didn't expect him to be only in his 20s. Many cultivators exclaimed in shock. Lin Feng's name was like thunder to everyone's ears, but they had never seen him before. Now that they saw Lin Feng, they were deeply shocked. He was too young. Could he fight against a god in his 20s? If he cultivated for a few hundred years, wouldn't he be able to kill a godly state expert easily? Chapter 1462. With the rise of Lin Feng, there were many legends about Lin Feng in the Banished World. Some said that he was the reincarnation of a god. Some said that he was possessed by an old monster. Some said that Lin Feng was not human, but a demon with 3 heads and 6 arms. Some even said that he was only 8 years old. Many cultivators naturally didn't believe the various versions of the story. After all, what they heard was false, and what they saw was true. Lin Feng was the same. He rarely believed in these so-called rumors. If he did not see it with his own eyes, he would not believe it. That was why everyone was so shocked when they saw that the area master of the Dragon Gate region was a young cultivator in his 20s. Boom! The battle broke out. Lin Feng controlled the 9 demons painting and attacked Mu Qianzong. On the other hand, Duzu created an endless amount of poisonous fog that covered the sky and enveloped Mu Qianzong. The evil dragon breathed out a dragon's breath that covered the sky, drowning Mu Qianzong. Chu Wu spat out beams of death light that swept towards Mu Qianzong. Lin Feng made use of the terrain to transform the evil dragon mountain range and Chu Wu mountain range into the evil dragon beast and Chu Wu mountain range, which was equivalent to having 2 more immortal state experts to help him. They were 4 strong cultivators attacking Mu Qianzong alone. Although Mu Qianzong was strong, he was now surrounded and attacked from all sides. He was continuously defeated. Bang! Under the joint attack of Lin Feng, Du Zhu, the evil dragon, and Chu Wu, Mu Qianzong was sent flying and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was extremely pale. 4 against 1, this battle's disparity is too great. Many people shook their heads. Now that Mu Qianzong was surrounded, the situation was obviously not good. Lin Feng sneered, Mu Qianzong, now you know how it feels to be surrounded? Mu Qianzong said coldly, Kid, do you really think that I have no way to deal with you? Today, I will let you know how powerful I am. With that, Mu Qianzong waved his right hand. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 3 figures appeared in a flash. These were actually 3 puppets. It was just that the 3 puppets that Mu Qianzong had summoned were a little strange. They were actually formed from poison and were not made of flesh and blood. These are the 3 poisonous puppets I obtained in the past. Each one of them has the strength of the first sky of the empty god layer. With these 3 puppets, I can delay you until Emo Shang, Celestial Emperor June, and Emo Zixi arrive. Then, you'll die, said Lin Feng calmly. Mu Qianzong grinned hideously as he controlled the 3 poisonous puppets with his mind, charging towards Lin Feng, Evil Dragon, and Chu Wu respectively. Mu Qianzong would personally deal with Du Zhu. Because Du Zhu was also proficient in using poison, Mu Qianzong was worried that Du Zhu would have a way to deal with his three treasures. After looking at the three poisonous puppets, Lin Feng knew that Mu Qianzong must have had a fortuitous encounter to be able to obtain such powerful poisonous puppets. Lin Feng wondered what kind of legacy this guy had inherited. These poisonous puppets must have been refined by a poison Dao expert. Mu Qianzong's rise was probably closely related to the legacy that he had inherited. Although the three poisonous puppets were only at the first sky of the empty god realm, they were extremely strange. They did not have a real body and were formed from poison. Even if they were destroyed, they could quickly regenerate. Lin Feng destroyed the poisonous puppets that attacked him a few times, but the poisonous puppets managed to regenerate successfully. This made Lin Feng speechless. However, Lin Feng immediately thought of the swallowing sky jar. Although the poison puppet was demonic, it was not a living being in essence, but a magical treasure. Since they were magic treasures, could the swallowing sky jar swallow the three poisonous puppets? Thinking of this, Lin Feng quickly took out the swallowing sky jar. Buzz! The swallowing sky jar was activated by Lin Feng and released a strong devouring power that enveloped the poisonous puppets that were attacking him. The strong devouring power started to devour the poisonous puppets. The poisonous puppets struggled violently, trying to break free from the devouring power of the swallowing sky jar. However, the swallowing sky jar unleashed its power and directly swallowed the poisonous puppets. Then, the swallowing sky jar forcefully cut off the connection between Mu Qianzong and the poisonous puppets. After the first poisonous puppet was taken away, Mu Qianzong suffered a backlash and could not help but let out a painful cry. He roared like a madman, "Lin Feng, you little bastard! How dare you take away my poisonous puppets? I'm going to kill you!" Mu Qianzong was furious. After pushing Du Zhu back, he charged towards Lin Feng. Du Zhu sneered and said, "Your opponent is me." Du Zhu quickly rushed in between Lin Feng and Mu Qianzong and blocked Mu Qianzong's path. Lin Feng continued to control his swallowing sky jar to devour the other two poisonous puppets. The poisonous puppets were extremely demonic. After devouring and refining them, it was equivalent to having 3 more immortal state guards. The other two poisonous puppets could not escape the fate of being devoured by the swallowing sky jar. In the end, the other two poisonous puppets were also devoured by the swallowing sky jar. After the 3 poisonous puppets were devoured by the swallowing sky jar, Mu Qianzong suffered 3 backlash and his battle strength was greatly reduced. Du Zhu raised his right hand, and the poisonous fog rolled as he sent another palm strike towards Mu Qianzong. "Kill!" shouted Lin Feng furiously and threw himself at Mu Qianzong. At the same time, the evil dragon and Chu Wu also rushed towards Mu Qianzong. The evil dragon's huge tail whipped towards Mu Qianzong. Chu Wu waved his huge claws towards Mu Qianzong. Lin Feng used the first part of the great reincarnation art, Ancient Time Rush. Ancient Time Rush. It took away one's lifespan. It made one's life grow old instantly. The 4 strong cultivators surrounded Mu Qianzong. Mu Qianzong was attacked from both sides and was exhausted. Bang! Lin Feng's punch landed on Mu Qianzong's body and sent him flying. Then, Mu Qianzong's body began to age rapidly, and his strength was quickly depleted. "What's going on? What's wrong with my body?" Mu Qianzong looked at his aged body in horror, a look of horror on his face. What happened? Many people looked at Mu Qianzong in horror. At that moment, an old cultivator said, "Could it be the legendary Great Reincarnation Art? I saw an introduction to the Great Reincarnation Art in a Taoist book. The first part of the Great Reincarnation Art recorded a peerless technique called Ancient Time Rush. It is said to be able to take away a cultivator's life. The Great Reincarnation Art is ranked 4th among the 3,000 Great Tao. It has been lost for a long time. How did Lin Feng learn it? Lin Feng is so young. It's definitely not a coincidence that he could become the lord of a region. He's too terrifying." Many people were talking about Lin Feng. They were all astonished. Everybody looked at Lin Feng in awe and veneration. "Kill him while he's weak," Lin Feng shouted and took the lead to attack Mu Qianzong. Chapter 1463. It was the best opportunity to kill Mu Qianzong. Lin Feng was very experienced, so he knew that. The 9 demons painting descended from the sky. At the same time, Lin Feng used the 9 slashes of the demon Great Emperor and attacked Mu Qianzong. Holy Poison Palm. The poison ancestor unleashed a powerful mystic skill. As he struck out with his palm, waves of destructive power gushed out from the heavens and earth. Illusionary silhouettes appeared behind Du Zhu. Those silhouettes were the souls of the poison cultivators who had died. Those poison cultivators had all been incredibly strong when they were alive. They had become saints and ancestors. They had been invincible. Even though those poison cultivators had died, their souls were still indestructible. Now, the power of the origin spirit was summoned by the poison ancestor to bolster his battle prowess. The poison ancestor's attack could be said to be earth-shattering. The evil dragon began to chant the incantation of the dragon clan, and a vast illusory image of the dragon world appeared. It descended from the sky, suppressing the world and destroying the sky. Its might was truly terrifying and shocking. Chu Wu was the king of beasts. He roared and millions of beasts appeared in the sky. They moved towards Mu Qianzong. The momentum of the attacks from the 4 experts was truly terrifying to the extreme. Many people were horrified and even overwhelmed with shock. Is Mu Qianzong going to die? If a leader dies, the great world of exile will be in chaos. The other leaders will definitely try to take over the territory of the poison cultivators. Many people were talking about Mu Qianzong's death. It wasn't as simple as losing a god. Mu Qianzong was the leader of the poison cultivators. He had controlled the poison cultivators for millions of years. If he died, the poison cultivators would lose their leader. Without a leader, the poison cultivators would be like lambs waiting to be slaughtered. Nobody would mind sacrificing themselves. You want to kill me? I'll drag you down with me, shouted Mu Qianzong furiously. He knew he was going to die, so he was going crazy. Mu Qianzong's body started burning. He was burning his own original strength to increase his fighting abilities. Mu Qianzong wanted to kill Lin Feng before he died. Mu Qianzong displayed his invincible might and blocked the attacks of Lin Feng and the others, as well as the suppression of the 9 demons' portrait. Then, he rushed towards Lin Feng. F***CK, even if you want to die, don't drag me along. Lin Feng summoned the 4 ferocious cauldron and quickly hid inside it. Then, he shouted, Mu Qianzong, I'll kill you today. Roar, roar, roar. The 4 ferocious cauldron was activated, and 4 ferocious beasts were drawn on it. Qiongqi, Tao Tai, Hundun, and Bai and were all revived. The 4 ferocious beasts bared their fangs and brandished their claws as their roars shook the heavens. Whoosh! The 4 ferocious cauldrons soared into the air, slamming into Mu Qianzong. Bang! That heavy blow landed on Mu Qianzong's body, and all the bones in Mu Qianzong's body were broken. Burst! Mu Qianzong had completely lost his mind. He had chosen to self-destruct and drag Lin Feng down with him. The self-destruction of a god was terrifying. The 4 ferocious cauldron was blown away. Even though Lin Feng was hiding inside the 4 ferocious cauldron and wearing the death god's armor, his bones were still broken. If it had been someone else, they would have died already. But Lin Feng's body was too strong. He activated the immortal body and recovered. Poison origin, I'll swallow it. Don't waste it, shouted Du Zhu. He opened his mouth and inhaled. Du Zhu swallowed the poison origin that filled the air. Lin Feng flew out of the 4 ferocious cauldron. Leader Lin is fine. Many people were shocked. Even though Lin Feng was hiding in the 4 ferocious cauldron, the explosion of a god's self-destruction could have killed Lin Feng. But Lin Feng was fine. It was beyond everyone's expectations. Lin Feng waved his right hand, and the evil dragon and Chu Wu turned back into 2 mountains and reappeared in the forest. He found Mu Qianzong's spatial ring. It was a leader's spatial ring. There must be many good things in it. But now wasn't the right time to check it out. After Du Zhu absorbed Mu Qianzong's poison origin, Lin Feng and Du Zhu left. The news that Mu Qianzong, the leader of the poison territory, had been killed by Lin Feng spread quickly on the island. Then, the news spread quickly. This was definitely a piece of news that would shock the entire exiled world. A domain lord had actually fallen. Mu Qianzong died tragically. He was forced to self-destruct. Mu Qianzong is dead. The poison territory is like a dragon without a leader. The other territories are going to divide the poison territory. Many people were talking about it. Lin Feng reunited with Wang Zhongming's clone. Lin Feng immediately sent his clone back to the Dragon Gate region to mobilize an army to attack the poison territory. At this time, they had to dispatch troops as soon as possible so that they could seize more territory. Then, they had to build more temples. After the other domain lords found out about this, they hurriedly sent out orders to gather their elite troops and enter the poison region to divide it up. Jun Tiandi also gave the same order. He ordered the 9 generals under him to take charge of this matter. Then, he went to the primitive island. Jun Tiandi reunited with Mose Tianzuan and Mo Zixi. The 3 of them looked gloomy. Lin Feng is getting stronger and stronger. If we don't kill him, we will be the ones to die. Jun Tiandi said in a low voice. Mose Tianzuan said, I know Lin Feng the best. He will definitely send an expert to the Dragon Gate region to take over the poison territory. Therefore, he only has one god with him. I guess that he will send his clone back. I will use a secret technique to increase Wang Tiany's cultivation level to the god realm at the cost of his lifespan. This way, we will have 4 gods on our side. This time, we must seize this rare opportunity to kill Lin Feng. Okay. Jun Tiandi and Mo Zixi nodded. Crazy demon life reducing great technique. Mose Tianzuan's hands kept forming seals. Seals after seals were sent into Wang Tiany's body. Wang Tiany was actually very strong. He was only half a step away from breaking through to the god realm. Moreover, he was a Taoist of the Tianji sect. His Taoist heritage was very powerful. Therefore, Wang Tiany's methods could even fight with Nihility God Realm cultivators. However, Mose Tianzuan was still not satisfied with Wang Tiany's strength. That was why he used this secret technique. Wang Tiany now had 60,000 years of lifespan. Mose Tianzuan gave Wang Tiany a month of lifespan. The remaining lifespan was all used up. Wang Tiany's cultivation level temporarily rose to the peak of the Nihility God Realm. The Magic Lotus, the holy artifact of the Sky Devil race. That remnant soul of the Sky Devil race is still alive. It's said that he recovered a lot of his strength a long time ago, and he's now as strong as many area masters. There's such a thing? It is said that cultivators from the Heavenly Demon Clan have extremely tenacious vitality. It seems that this is true. Seeing the appearance of the Magic Lotus, many cultivators whispered to each other. Boom. At the same time, more experts appeared one after another. Celestial Emperor Jun walked over from the left, his killing intent enveloping the area. Mo Zixi walked over from the right, a cold smile on his face. Wang Tiany had blocked the path to the sacred mountain. On both the left and right sides of the path facing the sacred mountain, there were cultivators appearing above. Mo Zixi, Wang Tiany, Celestial Emperor Jun has also appeared. He surrounded those cultivators with Mose Tianzuan. Who are those cultivators? Someone asked, puzzled. That's the area master of the Dragon Gate region, Lin Feng. Could the little girl in his arms be the daughter of the Lunar Emperor? I heard that Lin Feng snuck into the Divine Tower of Darkness and rescued the Lunar Emperor's daughter. It seems that the rumors are true. A cultivator said. No wonder Mo Zixi intervened. Many people revealed a look of sudden realization. Lin Feng, you won't be able to escape today. Mose Tianzuan's sinister voice rang out from the Magic Lotus. Celestial Emperor Jun sneered. It's time to end this. Mo Zixi also said coldly, Kid, your fate was sealed the moment you chose to go against the Divine Tower of Darkness. Only Wang Tiany remained silent. He was no different from a walking corpse now. Du Zhu's expression turned gloomy as he said, This is going to be troublesome. He has a child with him, and his deity realm clone has left. It won't be easy to deal with these people. Just as Du Zhu had said, it wouldn't be easy to deal with these 4 experts. Little Yao Yao said, Big brother, let's go find little big sister. Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. Why did little Yao Yao keep talking about finding little big sister? Although little Yao Yao was precocious, she was still young. She wasn't even 5 years old, so she couldn't explain some things. Du Zhu said, The sacred mountain is related to her father. Let's go and see if we can enter the sacred mountain. Lin Feng nodded. This was the best way. Mose Tianzuo's side had an absolute advantage in terms of strength. In addition, Lin Feng had little Yao Yao with him. Once the battle started, if little Yao Yao was hit, she might die at the hands of Mose Tianzuo and the others. Lin Feng naturally didn't want to fight with Mose Tianzuo and the others at this time. What he needed now was time to refine the 3 poison puppets he had obtained from Mu Qianzong. If he could refine the 3 poison puppets, Lin Feng's battle strength would greatly increase, and it would be much easier to deal with these people. Whoosh! Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao and rushed towards the sacred mountain. Du Zhu and Wang Zhongming followed closely behind. You want to enter the sacred mountain? You're courting death. Mose Tianzuo sneered when he saw Lin Feng and the others rushing towards the sacred mountain. In Mose Tianzuo's opinion, Lin Feng and the others were courting death. The sacred mountain's restrictions were too strong. They were so strong that they made their hair stand on end. However, Mose Tianzuo and the others soon realized that something was wrong. Lin Feng and the others weren't attacked by the restrictions. Little Yao Yao's body emitted a golden light that wrapped around Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng and the others weren't attacked by the restrictions. Instead, they entered the sacred mountain smoothly. What's going on? Mose Tianzuo and the others were dumbfounded. Many of the surrounding cultivators were also puzzled. Just now, the Lunar Emperor emitted a golden light that wrapped around them. That's why they weren't attacked by the restrictions. Could this place be related to the Lunar Emperor? Said a cultivator. His words caused a huge commotion. Nobody knew where the Lunar Emperor had passed away in the past. But now, it seemed that the sacred mountain was really where the Lunar Emperor had passed away. It's a pity that we can't enter the sacred mountain. Many people were extremely anxious, including Mose Tianzuo and the others. A great emperor's legacy, great emperor's imperial weapon, and even a lifetime's worth of wealth were buried there. Who wouldn't be jealous? Everyone, let's seal this place. Lin Feng and the others will come out anyway. When the time comes, we'll join forces to kill them. The Lunar Emperor's treasures will definitely be yours. You can consider it. Many people were moved by Celestial Emperor Jun's words. With 4 godly cultivators and the help of the cultivators, killing Lin Feng and the others would be a piece of cake. In the world of cultivators, it was very common to kill and steal treasures for cultivation resources. Many people immediately said, "Thank you for thinking so highly of us. When the time comes, we'll definitely help you." "Ha, that's great. Congratulations on making the right choice," said Celestial Emperor Jun with a smile. Chapter 1465. Inside the Holy Mountain, it was quiet. It was very quiet here, and there were no traces of vicious beasts. There wasn't even the sound of insects or birds chirping. Little sister. Little Yao Yao was very happy and called out to her fairy softly. "Big brother, I want to run to find little sister myself," little Yao Yao said. Lin Feng put her down. Then, little Yao Yao ran excitedly, looking for her fairy. Lin Feng followed behind little Yao Yao, afraid that she would be in danger. "Little sister, where are you? Little Yao Yao is here to find you," little Yao Yao called out. However, little fairy did not appear. After the little girl was tired from running, she said with a bitter face, "Where's little sister? Why didn't little sister come out? Does little sister hate little Yao Yao?" Lin Feng said, "Little sister must be tired, so she went back to sleep." "Is that so? Little Yao Yao is also tired. Big brother, hug me." Little Yao Yao opened her arms. Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao in his arms. At this time, Du Zhu had already walked around the holy mountain and returned. Lin Feng asked, "Did you find anything?" Du Zhu said, "I didn't find the whereabouts of that little fairy, nor did I find anything special. The holy mountain was not particularly big. Could it be that little fairy was hiding in an extremely hidden place?" Even now, Lin Feng was still not sure whether little fairy was a human or a demon. After all, this island had been hidden since the primordial era and only appeared after billions of years. And a little fairy suddenly appeared on the holy mountain that was surrounded by layers of restrictions. This was indeed too strange. Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao and walked around the holy mountain. He used the dragon searching art, wanting to find a place where little fairy could hide or where the lunar emperor buried himself. However, Lin Feng searched the entire holy mountain, but did not find any clues. Could it be that our guess was wrong? The lunar emperor did not bury himself here at all? And that little fairy was just an illusion that we saw? The poison ancestor voiced out the doubts in his heart. Lin Feng thought for a moment and said, "Little fairy is indeed strange. However, I think that the moon emperor might have buried himself in the sacred mountain. It's just that we haven't found any clues yet." At night, little Yao Yao, who was sleeping in Lin Feng's embrace, suddenly got up. "What's wrong, little girl?" Lin Feng sat up and asked. "Big brother, I think I heard someone calling me, asking me to go over," little Yao Yao said. Lin Feng was shocked. There was actually such a thing. He asked, "Do you know where the person who called you wants you to go?" Little Yao Yao replied, "I know." He said that he would tell little Yao Yao. "Big brother will carry you there," Lin Feng said. Little Yao Yao nodded. Then, Lin Feng picked up little Yao Yao. "Over there." Little Yao Yao pointed into the distance. Lin Feng followed little Yao Yao's direction. Du Zhu and Wang Zhoming followed behind Lin Feng. Finally, they entered an ancient forest. In the depths of the ancient forest, there was a cliff. "It's down there," little Yao Yao said. Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao to the side of the cliff. Du Zhu said, "This is a no-fly zone, so we can't fly. If we want to go down, we have to climb down. However, we don't know how deep this cliff is." Lin Feng said, "Look, there are many vines growing on the cliff. If we follow the vines, we should be able to reach the bottom of the cliff. Du Zhu, go down and scout. If there's any danger, come up quickly. If there's no danger, let me know and we'll go down as well." Du Zhu nodded, grabbed the vines, and quickly dived down the cliff. About an hour later, Du Zhu's voice came from below. "There's no problem. Come down." Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao, grabbed the vines with one hand, and quickly rushed down the cliff. Wang Zhoming followed closely behind and also rushed down the cliff. An hour later, Lin Feng and Wang Zhoming also arrived at the bottom of the cliff. They saw many strange vines growing at the bottom of the cliff. These vines were thick and big, and they covered the entire cliff. At the bottom of the cliff, there was a huge cave. The cave's passage was long and extended deep into the cave. Du Zhu led the way in front. Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao. Wang Zhoming was in charge of bringing up the rear. They walked deeper into the cave. The deeper they went, the wider the cave became. Finally, they entered a cave that was thousands of square meters in size. This cave was also densely covered with vines that crawled all over the walls. In the middle of the cave, there was a platform. On the platform, there was a green sarcophagus. A green sarcophagus is one of the most mysterious sarcophagi. In the primordial era, there was a saying that a green sarcophagus buried an ancient emperor. It's very likely that the lunar emperor is buried here. Du Zhu explained. "Is it where Daddy is buried?" Little Yao Yao's tears trickled down her face. She was not even 2 years old when she was sealed. However, as the daughter of an emperor, the young Yao Yao could already remember some things. As she grew older, the memories in her emperor blood gradually recovered. Thus, little Yao Yao knew many things about the primordial era, and she also knew many things about her father, the lunar emperor. This was because these were the memories contained in the bloodline inheritance. Lin Feng did not console the crying little Yao Yao. It was normal for a child to cry when seeing the place where her father was buried. Once she was done crying, she would feel better. "Are we going to open the sarcophagus?" Wang Zhoming asked. Du Zhu said, "Of course. The lunar emperor's legacy, treasures, and wealth are inside. If we don't take it, someone else will take it sooner or later." Lin Feng agreed. He said, "Du Zhu, go and open the sarcophagus." Du Zhu nodded and walked over to the sarcophagus. He clasped his hands together and began to pray. "Lunar Emperor, we're opening the sarcophagus, not because we want to offend your corpse. Please don't blame us. Your death has nothing to do with us. If you really want to take revenge, then take it out on the creatures in the other world. Don't come looking for us." Lin Feng did not think that there was anything in this world that Du Zhu was afraid of. Du Zhu was usually so carefree. Lin Feng could not help but laugh when he saw how cautious Du Zhu was. Du Zhu pushed the lid of the sarcophagus open. Lin Feng, Du Zhu, Wang Zhongming, and little Yao Yao all looked into the sarcophagus. However, their expressions suddenly changed. This was because the sarcophagus was empty. There was nothing at all. Why is it empty? Isn't this a little too strange? Wang Zhongming was puzzled. Lin Feng and Du Zhu furrowed their brows in deep thought. Who are you people? How dare you trespass on the forbidden grounds? Don't you know that trespassing on the forbidden grounds will only lead to death? Suddenly, a hoarse and cold voice rang out from the belly of the mountain. Lin Feng felt goosebumps all over his body. What kind of existence was this? He had not sensed that there were other creatures in this place. Chapter 1466. Who are you? Why are you hiding in the dark? Lin Feng asked solemnly as if he was facing a great enemy. I've never hidden. The voice sounded again. This time, Lin Feng could clearly hear where the voice was coming from. He looked to his left and saw a human head on one of the walls. Crack, crack. Next, the sound of bones grinding could be heard. A withered, ghost-like being walked out from the rock wall. His body seemed to have fused with the rock wall. Now that he had left the rock wall, he was still not used to it. His body swayed slightly as he walked, as if he could fall to the ground at any time. However, Lin Feng did not dare to underestimate such a mysterious being. That was because this existence had lived for tens of thousands of years. Who are you? Lin Feng asked. The guardian of the green coffin, the withered, ghost-like being replied. He then continued. It's been so many years since anyone has been able to come here. I really can't bear to kill you, but this is a forbidden area. You have to die. Boom. A terrifying aura emanated from the ghost-like being's body. Lin Feng had never felt such a terrifying aura before. It was too strong. In front of this being, he felt as weak as an ant. Not good. Du Zhu's expression changed. He was also powerless against the coffin guardian. Your fate is to be buried here and sleep forever. The coffin guardian attacked, sending a palm towards Lin Feng and the others. The power of this attack made Lin Feng feel a thick aura of death enveloping his body. Buzz. Just at this critical moment, from within little Yao Yao's body suddenly shot out a golden light. The golden light shone on the guardian of the sarcophagus. The guardian said in shock, "This is the bloodline power of the Lunar Emperor. You are the Lunar Emperor's daughter." The guardian of the sarcophagus stopped attacking. Its old and tired eyes looked at little Yao Yao and Lin Feng's arms. The sarcophagus guardian's body was too frightening. Little Yao Yao was clearly frightened. She buried her head in Lin Feng's chest, not daring to look at the sarcophagus guardian. Lin Feng heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the coffin guardian stop. He quickly said, "That's right. Little Yao Yao is the daughter of the lunar monarch. Senior, are you acquainted with the lunar monarch?" The guardian of the sarcophagus said, "I've been guarding this science sarcophagus since ancient times, waiting for the great emperor who is about to pass away. This is my destiny." Lin Feng was shaken. The sarcophagus guardian's words contained too much information. Since ancient times, this meant that the guardian of the sarcophagus had lived for far too long. Perhaps even he had forgotten how long he had lived. His destiny was to guard this science sarcophagus. Du Zhu had said before that the science sarcophagus was the sarcophagus where the great emperor was buried. Did that mean that this mysterious guardian of the science sarcophagus had seen more than one great emperor? Had he personally buried more than one great emperor? Even little Yao Yao's father, the lunar emperor, had been buried by him? However, Lin Feng suddenly had a very strange thought. Looking at the coffin protector in front of him, Lin Feng had the feeling that the coffin protector's fate was a bit like a curse. Lin Feng said, "I once saw a cursed cultivator who turned into a fire crow and was unable to leave the cave. Senior, you've been guarding this science sarcophagus since ancient times. Could it be that you've been cursed as well?" "Yes, I've been cursed. This is my destiny." The guardian of the sarcophagus sighed. Lin Feng asked, "Senior, what has cursed you?" Lin Feng suddenly thought of the cursed celestial masters. Celestial masters were not allowed to meet each other. If they did, they would definitely suffer misfortune. This was also a curse. Of course, Lin Feng didn't know if the celestial masters had other curses. What has cursed me? Let me think. The guardian of the sarcophagus murmured, "Ah." Suddenly, he let out a miserable shriek. It was heart-wrenching and extremely tragic. I can't remember. I really can't remember. Every time I try to remember, I feel incomparable pain. The guardian clutched his head and screamed. Duzu said, "It seems that your memories have been erased." The cursed fire crow also seems to have had its memories erased. Lin Feng frowned as he pondered this matter. This was too strange. Curse. What kind of power was that? Why? In this world, there were cursed experts everywhere who had lost all their memories. Then, they had an endless lifespan. But this lifespan, it was an eternity that kept repeating the same thing. There are many things that I can't remember clearly, the guardian said and finally sighed. Lin Feng said, "Perhaps it's good that you can't remember. This way, it won't be too painful." Perhaps. The guardian muttered to himself. Lin Feng asked, "Did the lunar emperor fall here?" The moon emperor was the last great emperor I talked to. He came here. He didn't have much time left. I told him to lie in the coffin. That was his destiny. He was going to turn into ashes. That was the best fate. He wouldn't be enslaved after death. The great emperors who died of their own accord couldn't escape the fate of being enslaved, said the moon emperor. Lin Feng was horrified. The information revealed by the guardian was too frightening. Great emperors would be enslaved after falling? Could it be that the emperor's soul was enslaved? Du Zhu and Wang Zhongming were also dumbfounded. Obviously, they were also shocked by this news. Ever since the innate life-form war, the emperor was the strongest existence in the world. Who could enslave the emperor's soul? The emperor was enslaved? What's going on? Lin Feng asked. The guardian said, "After the emperor dies, his soul doesn't disperse. There are soldiers who will take the emperor's soul to the underworld." Underworld? Lin Feng felt his scalp go numb. He asked, "Is there really an underworld? Where is the netherworld?" The guardian said, "The innate life forms first divided the world into the 3 realms and 6 paths. These 3 realms and 6 paths are above the 3 realms, and the underworld is one of the 3 realms. It's just that the underworld is fleeting. Other than those who came from the underworld who know how to go there, no one else has a way to go there. It's the kingdom of the dead, the paradise of the dead." Lin Feng took a deep breath, trying his best to digest the guardian's words. The undying world, the continent of the 9 states, the exiled world. These should be the 3 realms, right? The 3 realms above the 3 realms were the immortal world, the underworld, and the Xuanhuan chaos world. The 6 paths were the hell path, the hungry ghost path, the beast path, the human path, the Azura path, and the heavenly path. The 3 realms belong to the real world. The 6 paths were the order of heaven and earth. However, they were the order of heaven and earth above the 3 realms. For example, the various laws of heaven and earth were derived from the heavenly path. One of the 6 paths. Lin Feng asked, "Did the lunar emperor pass away in his coffin?" "No. The lunar emperor didn't enter the coffin," the guardian said. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. "He didn't enter the coffin? If the lunar emperor passed away outside the coffin, doesn't that mean his soul was taken away by the soldiers of the underworld, and then enslaved by those unknown existences?" Chapter 1467. "That might be the case, but I didn't see anything," the coffin protector said. Lin Feng asked curiously, "Why is that? Didn't the lunar emperor die here?" "He left and entered the starry sky. He said that he wanted to do something in the final moments of his life." Lin Feng asked curiously, "Did he say what he was going to do?" "I asked him before, but he didn't tell me. However, I saw him staring blankly at the sky. I don't know what he was thinking." Lin Feng hadn't expected the lunar emperor to leave the exile realm. However, the lunar emperor didn't have much time left. Had he already died in the starry sky? The lunar emperor's sword, the orthodoxy of the lunar emperor, the treasures of the lunar emperor. Lin Feng suddenly had the urge to beat his chest. This was too depressing. The lunar emperor had left with everything. Were those treasures destined to be lost in the endless starry sky? Lin Feng suddenly thought of something else. The coffin protector had stopped because of little Yao Yao. Of course, it was because of the Lunar Emperor. However, was there a need for the coffin protector to give face to the Lunar Emperor? There was no need at all. After all, he didn't have any relationship with the Lunar Emperor. Unless the coffin protector had reached some kind of agreement with the Lunar Emperor. That was why the coffin protector had given face to the Lunar Emperor. When he thought of this, Lin Feng asked, "Senior, I have something I don't understand. Can you explain it to me?" The coffin protector said, "Let's hear it." Lin Feng asked, "Senior, did you reach some kind of agreement with the Lunar Emperor?" The coffin protector said, "That's right. I reached an agreement with the Lunar Emperor. He will bring me a message and search for my clansmen. In return, I will give something to his daughter when she comes here one day." Lin Feng was stunned. The Lunar Emperor could predict the future? Wasn't this too inconceivable? However, the emperors themselves were unimaginably terrifying existences. Therefore, it wasn't too unbelievable that the Lunar Emperor could predict what might happen. Lin Feng asked, "What did the Lunar Emperor leave behind for little Yao Yao?" "I'm Yao Yao's guardian now, so just give it to me." The coffin protector stretched out his right hand, and a jade pendant appeared in his hand. "What's this?" Lin Feng muttered. Of course, he had hoped that the Lunar Emperor would leave the Lunar Emperor's sword and little Yao Yao, but reality was cruel. "This might be an important keepsake," the coffin protector said. Lin Feng nodded and took the jade pendant. Lin Feng said, "Master, are you interested in having an agreement with me?" "Make an agreement?" The coffin protector looked at Lin Feng, "Senior, don't you want to find your own people? The Moon Emperor has probably been dead for billions of years, but your people haven't come looking for you. But if I help you find your clan members, what will you get in return?" "I have a forbidden artifact here that can be used 5 times. I can give it to you." The coffin protector said, "Forbidden artifacts aren't that valuable," Lin Feng said. The coffin protector said, "This forbidden artifact is an imitation of the purple lightning hammer. The purple lightning hammer is the Grand Mist Saint's most precious treasure. It's on the same level as Pangu's cleaving heaven and earth axe, Nuwas mountain and river map, and primordial origin Saint's 3 treasures jade scepter. Although this forbidden artifact is just a replica and only has 5 uses left, its power surpasses the Lunar Emperor's sword, 9 demons diagram, Demon Emperor's bell, Xianyuan sword, and other top-grade Emperor weapons." "Ah, it's that powerful? Hurry up and give it to me," Lin Feng said excitedly. Chapter 1468. This is the forbidden weapon, the purple lightning hammer. The sarcophagus guardian waved his right hand, and a ball of purple lightning appeared. It floated in the air and intertwined with the power of lightning. Amidst the lightning, a purple divine hammer floated up and down. The hammer was emitting waves of destructive energy. This was the purple lightning hammer, a treasure that could shock the world. Unfortunately, it's just a forbidden weapon made from the imitation of the innate spiritual treasure, the purple lightning hammer. If only it was the real one, Lin Feng said with a smile. The sarcophagus guardian said, "The real purple lightning hammer might have been destroyed in the battle between innate life forms, right? Of course, it might not have been destroyed, but it must have been lost in a place where no one can find it. It might even have been lost in the past." Innate life forms were very terrifying. They controlled the power of the past, present, and future. A treasure like the purple lightning hammer could indeed be lost in the past. This way, no one would be able to find it. Some sentient life forms would even bury their bodies in the past so that they wouldn't appear in the present or the future. This was a heaven-defying ability. Even the great emperor had only scratched the surface. Lin Feng grabbed the forbidden weapon, the purple lightning hammer, and stroked it lovingly. It really was a peerless divine treasure. He didn't know if the forbidden weapon could kill a divine flame realm expert. He couldn't wait to go out and fight with Mo Tianzuan, Jun Tiandi, and Mo Zixi, and Wang Tianyi. He would use the purple lightning hammer to kill these people and steal their treasures. Especially the magic lotus. This treasure must be obtained. You've already accepted the item and the agreement has been reached. I won't make you swear an oath because there's no need for that. I've always believed in a principle that a man can't live without trust. If you don't even keep your promise, then your future achievements are destined to be limited, the sarcophagus guardian said. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Don't worry, when I'm strong enough, I'll definitely help you find your clansmen." The sarcophagus guardian nodded, and then his body merged into the stone wall again. He no longer spoke, as if he had become a part of the stone wall. Lin Feng placed little Yao Yao down and found a place to form a blood bond with the purple lightning hammer. Unfortunately, this heaven-defying treasure was a forbidden artifact. There were still 5 uses left. Once a forbidden artifact was used up, it would self-destruct. Therefore, Lin Feng had to cherish this treasure. Unless it was a last resort, he could not use it casually. Even the combined 9 devils picture was not as powerful as the purple lightning hammer. From this, one could see how powerful this treasure was. After spending an entire day, Lin Feng finally succeeded in refining the purple lightning hammer. Du Zhu was also in seclusion. He was refining Mu Qianzong's poison source. Lin Feng could sense that Du Zhu's cultivation was rapidly recovering. For an ancient existence like Du Zhu, who had once cultivated to the Boundary Emperor realm, it was not difficult for him to recover his strength. Of course, the prerequisite was that he could find enough sources that he could devour to recover his strength. Perhaps the only thing that prevented Du Zhu from recovering his strength quickly was that it was difficult to find sources. After devouring Mu Qianzong's poison source, Du Zhu's cultivation had recovered to the 10th heaven of the Void God realm. He was also only 1 step away from breaking through to the Divine Fire realm. After Lin Feng formed a blood bond with the purple lightning hammer, he took out the 3 poison puppets. Seeing that Lin Feng was about to refine the poison puppets, Du Zhu said, "You can use the great poison technique to refine the poison puppets. At the same time, when you're refining the poison puppets, you can send a strand of your divine consciousness into the poison puppets. This way, the poison puppets will be like deity realm clones. They will be under your control and move freely. However, the only thing to worry about is that if the poison puppets are killed, your divine consciousness will be destroyed and your soul will suffer a backlash." Lin Feng nodded and said, "Everything has its risks. However, it's not that easy to destroy the poison puppets. After all, the poison puppets are still at the Void God realm." Lin Feng was actually very fond of the 3 poison puppets. Perhaps the only weakness of the poison puppets was that it was difficult to advance. This was also the biggest difference between the poison puppets and deity realm clones. Deity realm clones could cultivate and evolve infinitely like cultivators. However, the poison puppets could not do this. This was because the poison puppets were a type of humanoid puppet. Under normal circumstances, if a humanoid puppet wanted to advance further, it would need to find even more precious materials and refine them again. However, these materials were very difficult to find. If Lin Feng wanted to continue increasing the strength of the 3 poison puppets, he would need to find more precious materials to refine them. He planned to wait until he returned to the Dragon Gate region before asking someone to help him find the materials to refine the humanoid puppets. Lin Feng followed Du Zhu's method to refine the poison puppets, then sent a strand of divine sense into their bodies. After around 2 days, Lin Feng successfully refined the 3 poison puppets. Lin Feng opened his eyes and stretched. He was very happy that he had successfully refined the 3 poison puppets. "Big brother, go find little big sister." When little Yao Yao saw that Lin Feng had woken up, she grabbed Lin Feng's hand and whispered to him. Lin Feng asked curiously, "Did she appear again?" Little Yao Yao nodded and grabbed Lin Feng's hand. She then walked towards the exit. When they arrived outside the cave, Little Fairy looked over from afar. "Little big sister." Little Yao Yao was very excited, and she chased after Little Fairy. Little Fairy looked at Little Yao Yao in confusion, then disappeared without a trace. "What's going on?" Lin Feng frowned. This was very strange, and he could not understand it at all. Little Fairy was clearly not far away, so why had she disappeared without a trace? Little Yao Yao came back sadly. Lin Feng took her in his arms and hugged her. "Big brother, big sister left again. You don't like little Yao Yao, do you?" asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng comforted her. "Of course not. Little big sister must have left because she has something to do." Little Yao Yao was pleasantly surprised. "Really? Lin Feng dotingly rubbed little Yao Yao's head. Of course. Only then did little Yao Yao become happy. Lin Feng went to ask the sarcophagus guardian about little fairy. She does not belong to this world. The guardian of the coffin didn't say much, but he said something that Lin Feng didn't understand. If she did not belong to this world, then why had she appeared here? The guardian did not continue to answer Lin Feng. It was obvious that it did not want to tell him anything more. Perhaps it was related to some topic that the guardian did not want to talk about. Lin Feng tactfully did not pursue the matter. In the end, he left the cave with Du Zhu and Wang Zhongming. Little fairy appeared again as Lin Feng and the others were walking out of the sacred mountain. Her large, lively eyes looked at little Yao Yao. Goodbye, little big sister. Little Yao Yao waved at little fairy. Little fairy looked at little Yao Yao, a pensive expression on her face. If the Buddha blocks the Buddha, kill the Buddha. Ha 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 ha, very good. Since you want to kill me, I'll send you to hell today. Lin Feng roared. A light flashed in his right hand. Next, Lin Feng took out the purple lightning hammer. Purple lightning intertwined. Crackling sounds could be heard. Every time the purple lightning hammer was activated, it could be used for an hour. After an hour, it would need to be activated a second time. However, the purple lightning hammer was such a powerful forbidden weapon that it could be activated once to end the battle. Lin Feng infused his magic power into the purple lightning hammer. Immediately after, the purple lightning hammer emitted waves of destructive energy. The purple lightning formed a light shield that enveloped Lin Feng. Lin Feng's body was surrounded by purple lightning. At this moment, he seemed to have transformed into the legendary god of thunder. Lin Feng held the purple lightning hammer with both hands and smashed it towards the crowd. Endless power of thunder poured down. The powerful lightning instantly destroyed the attacks of countless cultivators. Even the magic lotus was sent flying. Previously, the guardian of the sarcophagus said that the purple lightning hammer was more powerful than the Taiyan Emperor sword, 9 Demons Painting, Demon Emperor Bell, Xianyuan sword, and other top-tier emperor weapons. Lin Feng was still in disbelief. However, he finally believed that the purple lightning hammer could destroy more than 2,000 cultivators and 4 godly state experts. It could also send the heavenly demon clan's sacred item, the magic lotus, flying. Only this point. This was enough to prove the power and terror of the purple lightning hammer. What weapon is that? It's so powerful? Many of the spectating cultivators were dumbfounded. The power displayed by the purple lightning hammer shocked too many people. The purple lightning hammer was indeed too terrifying. The cultivators who were fighting Lin Feng were pale with fright. They no longer had the mood to continue fighting with Lin Feng. They turned and ran. "Where do you think you're going?" said Lin Feng while smiling coldly. He raised his hammer and smashed it again. Bang! The hammer smashed down and instantly, 300 to 400 cultivators were smashed into meat paste. It's too terrifying. We can't block it at all. Is this a supreme treasure that Region Lord Lin obtained from the sacred mountain? Many cultivators gulped, secretly rejoicing that they didn't attack. Otherwise, they might have ended up like those cultivators who were killed. A forbidden weapon? That should be a forbidden artifact. However, isn't that forbidden artifact a little too powerful? An old cultivator said. He was very knowledgeable and could tell that the purple lightning hammer was different from ordinary weapons. Such a powerful forbidden weapon. I wonder what kind of weapon was it made from? Someone wondered. However, no one knew that innate spiritual treasures didn't manifest in the mortal world. Those who knew about innate spiritual treasures were at least heavenly gods. Haha, a bunch of trash. Die. Lin Feng laughed loudly and continued to attack the crowd with the purple lightning hammer. A few hundred people were killed with a single strike. Region Lord Lin, please spare our lives. We were all bewitched by Jun Tiandi and the others. We didn't have any intention of harming you. Please, Region Lord Lin, give us another chance. Many people cried out in fear and begged loudly. You people want to kill me and steal my treasures. Now that you're exaggerating, I won't spare your lives. Go to hell and see King Yama, said Lin Feng while smiling coldly. His purple lightning hammer kept smashing down on the ground. Bang, bang, bang. Before long, More than 2,000 cultivators who had surrounded Lin Feng were killed. Go, 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 go. Mose Tianzuan and the others were pale with fright. The purple lightning hammer was too powerful. They didn't dare stay any longer. The four of them entered the magic lotus and rode the magic lotus, trying to tear open the void and escape. You can't escape. You're all going to die. Lin Feng roared and smashed the purple lightning hammer on the magic lotus like a thunder god. The powerful force sent the magic lotus flying, and a terrifying shockwave surged into the magic lotus. Mose Tianzuan, Jun Tiandi, and Mo Zixi, and Wang Tianyi, who were hiding in the magic lotus, coughed up blood. Chapter 1470. You won't be able to escape. Today, only death awaits you. Lin Feng sneered again and again. The purple lightning hammer in his hand moved again and smashed towards the magic lotus. Clang! A loud sound rang out. The magic lotus was sent flying again. Mose Tianzuan and the others, who were hiding inside the magic lotus, had blocked most of the attack because of the magic lotus. However, the power of the purple lightning hammer was too strong, so the power of the shock was still very terrifying. Therefore, they were once again seriously injured. Their faces were as pale as paper, and they were constantly coughing up blood. The weapon in that brat's hand is a forbidden weapon. Although this weapon is powerful, there is a limit to the number of times it can be used. Let's leave for now and wait for the power of his weapon to dissipate before we come back to kill him. Mose Tianzuan shouted loudly. This was indeed the best way. If they stayed to fight against Lin Feng, even if they had the magic lotus, it was very likely that they would die. Therefore, Mose Tianzuan and the others were no longer in the mood to continue fighting with Lin Feng. Heavenly Emperor Jun and Mose Tianzuan nodded with gloomy expressions. They also knew that Mose Tianzuan's suggestion was the best choice for them at the moment. As for Wang Tianyi, he had already become a walking corpse. He was expressionless and silent. Mose Tianzuan said, "Everyone, we need to burn our lifespan to activate the magic lotus and use the magic lotus to escape." Right now, Wang Tianyi no longer had any lifespan to burn, so Mose Tianzuan, Heavenly Emperor Jun, and Mose Tianzuan had to burn their lifespan to activate the magic lotus. Each of them had burned 100,000 years of their lifespan. Although these people had a long lifespan, burning 100,000 years of their lifespan was incomparably painful. After all, Heavenly Emperor Jun and Mo Zixi had a lifespan of about 3 million years. They had already lived for more than 1,000,000 years, so 100,000 years of lifespan was not a small number for them. This amount of lifespan was not something that could be used up casually. But now, in order to escape, no matter how reluctant they were, they had to burn their lifespan. On the other hand, Mose Tianzuan did not mind burning 100,000 years of his lifespan because the lifespan of the celestial devils was much longer than that of other races. The three of them had each burned 100,000 years of their lifespan, giving them a total of 300,000 years of lifespan. Therefore, the power of the magic lotus was greatly increased. At this moment, Lin Feng wielded the purple lightning hammer and charged over once more, smashing down on the magic lotus. Demon Lotus was sent flying again and again with a dozen strikes. Originally, Mose Tianzuan and the others were hoping that after burning their lifespan, the magic lotus would be able to block the purple lightning hammer's attack and allow them to escape. But only now did these people know. It turned out that they were just indulging in their fantasies. The purple lightning hammer was too powerful. Even if each of them burned 100,000 years of their lifespan to activate the magic lotus, they still wouldn't be able to resist. Do I have to continue burning my lifespan? Mo Zixi's expression was incomparably gloomy. Burning 100,000 years of his lifespan had already caused him incomparable pain. If he continued to burn his lifespan, it would be the same as cutting off his flesh. Celestial Emperor Jun's expression was also incomparably gloomy. At this moment, Lin Feng's attacks did not stop, bombarding the magic lotus with attack after attack. The magic lotus shook violently, and the powerful vibrations caused the few of them to cough out blood. The situation was very bad. Mose Tianzuan's eyes darted around. Celestial devils were originally extremely cunning. Now, Mose Tianzuan had a different idea. Now, Mosei Tianzuan felt that even if he continued to burn his lifespan to activate the magic lotus, he would not be able to resist the purple lightning hammer. Therefore, he turned his attention to Celestial Emperor June and Mo Zixi. He secretly communicated with the magic lotus. Suddenly, a powerful force wrapped around Celestial Emperor June, Mo Zixi, and Wang Tianyi before throwing them out of the magic lotus. Celestial Emperor June roared, "Mosei Tianzuan, you dare to trick us?" Mo Zixi cursed bitterly, "Mosei Tianzuan, you'll die a horrible death for tricking us like this." The only one who didn't say anything was Wang Tianyi. This was because Wang Tianyi was under Mosei Tianzuan's control. He didn't have his own thoughts, nor did he have any emotions. Mosei Tianzuan's order to Wang Tianyi was to delay Lin Feng. Mosei Tianzuan laughed and said, "The two of you, I'm really sorry. Now that the calamity is upon us, please help me block it for a while. When I escape, I'll pay my respects to you in the future." Boom! At this time, Lin Feng was already attacking with his purple lightning hammer. Mo Zixi and Celestial Emperor June had no choice but to block the purple lightning hammer's attack. Otherwise, only death awaited them. The magic lotus flew into the distance. It can't be, right? Mosei Tianzuan betrayed his allies. Celestial Emperor June, Mo Zixi, and Wang Tianyi are in trouble now. They might die in Lin Feng's hands. The Celestial Demon Clan has always been cunning. Mosei Tianzuan betrayed the Golden Crow Sage before, but Celestial Emperor June and the others still cooperated with Mosei Tianzuan. Now that they've been betrayed by Mosei Tianzuan, they only have themselves to blame. Many people started discussing in low voices, while others sneered and looked at Celestial Emperor June, Mo Zixi, and Wang Tianyi with schadenfreude. The magic lotus betraying Celestial Emperor June and Mo Zixi seemed like an accident, but it was actually reasonable. This was in line with the Celestial Demon Clan style. However, Mosei Tianzuan had already betrayed his allies twice. Presumably, no one in the Great Exiled World would cooperate with Mosei Tianzuan again. Although Lin Feng felt that it was a pity that Mosei Tianzuan had escaped. However, he believed that the next time he saw Mosei Tianzuan would definitely die. What Lin Feng needed to do now was to kill Celestial Emperor June, then occupy a large amount of territory and build temples. This was the most important thing. Boom! Lin Feng's terrifying hammer smashed down. Wang Tianyi's cultivation was the weakest, so he was the first to suffer. He was directly killed by Lin Feng's hammer. As for Heavenly Emperor June and Mo Zixi, they were sent flying. It was unknown how many bones in their bodies were broken. Celestial Emperor June shouted, "Territorial Lord Lin, we can negotiate." "There's no need for that." Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He wielded the purple lightning hammer and attacked again. Mo Zixi's expression was gloomy. He began to chant an incantation. Clearly, Mo Zixi wanted to use a curse to deal with Lin Feng. Lin Feng had suffered a great loss in the godly Dark Tower. Clang, clang, clang. Suddenly, Lin Feng had the feeling that an invisible and intangible strength was bombarding the purple lightning which was protecting him. It was probably Mo Zixi's cursing strength. Not good. Mo Zixi's expression changed. Lin Feng sneered. "I have the lightning barrier released by the purple lightning hammer to protect me. Your curse has no effect on me now." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng wielded the purple lightning hammer and attacked again. Cursed blade. Soul-splitting magic-breaking halberd. Facing Lin Feng's attack, Mo Zixi and Celestial Emperor June both took out their divine weapons and used them to block Lin Feng's attack. Clang, clang, clang. Lin Feng continuously smashed down 36 times with his hammer. The divine light of the two divine artifacts dimmed, and their power was greatly reduced. Lin Feng took the opportunity to rush in front of Mo Zixi and Celestial Emperor June. Another two hammers smashed down. The power was enough to destroy heaven and earth. These two hammers smashed onto Mo Zixi and Celestial Emperor June's bodies. Their bodies couldn't withstand such a terrifying attack and were directly smashed into pieces by the purple lightning hammer. The two Deity Realm experts were smashed to death by Lin Feng's purple lightning hammer. Chapter 1471. Dead. They're all dead. That's the leader of the Tianzhou region and the leader of the Divine Tower of Darkness. They died just like that. Lin Feng killed the leader of the Poison region, Mu Qianzong. Now, the leader of the Tianzhou region has also died at his hands. 2 of the original 12 leaders have died at his hands in such a short time. The Divine Tower of Darkness has been around for a long time. It's ancient and powerful. Mo Zixi has mastered the art of curses. He's even more powerful than many of the other leaders, but he also died at the hands of Lin Feng. Lin Feng is too scary. How long has it been since he established the Dragon Gate region and killed so many deities? Countless people in the surroundings were talking about it. Everyone had a shocked expression on their faces. Now, everyone respected and feared Lin Feng. Lin Feng took Mo Zixi's and Heavenly Emperor Jun's source energies and left with Du Zhu and the others. Now that Heavenly Emperor Jun was dead, it was a good opportunity to take over the Tianzhou region. Soon, the news of the Tianzhou region's leader, Heavenly Emperor Jun, and the leader of the Divine Tower of Darkness, Mo Zixi, being killed by Lin Feng quickly spread throughout the banished world. Lin Feng had killed the leader of the Poison region, Mu Qianzong, not long ago, and now he had killed Heavenly Emperor Jun and Mo Zixi. It was unbelievable. As for Wang Tiany's death, not many people paid attention to it. Wang Tiany was only a quasi-god, and many people knew that he had been enslaved by Mo Zetianzuan. Wang Tiany was nothing compared to Mo Zixi and Heavenly Emperor Jun Tiandu City, one of the 10 ancient capitals of the southern wasteland region. Lin Feng carried little Yao Yao, Du Zhu, and Wang Zhoming to the ancient city. Lin Feng was very tired after the continuous battles and the journey. He planned to rest for a day before buying an 8-winged flying lion vulture to head to the Dragon Gate region. The 8-winged flying lion vulture was the fastest flying beast. It could travel 1,000,000 miles in a day and fly at its maximum speed for half a month. Even a deity realm expert wouldn't be able to hold on for so long. Now, countless cultivators in the Sky Capital City were talking about Lin Feng. After killing the Poison region's lord, the Tianzhou region's lord, and the Dark Divine Tower's lord, Lin Feng's reputation soared. Perhaps it wasn't particularly appropriate to use the word famous anymore. It should be described as ferocious. Right now, Lin Feng could be said to have shaken the world with his ferocity. When many people mentioned the name Lin Feng, they couldn't help but feel a sense of fear. Many people even used that person to replace Lin Feng's name, not daring to call Lin Feng by his full name. He was afraid that he would break a taboo. Naturally, there were also many cultivators who worshipped Lin Feng, killing 2 region lords and the tower master of the Divine Dark Tower. Many people were excited just thinking about it, let alone doing it personally. After resting for a day, Lin Feng took Yao Yao, the poison ancestor, and Wang Zhongming to the market where ferocious beasts were sold. There was a sea of people here, and it was very lively. The sound of bargaining could be heard everywhere, and it was deafening. Region Lord. Lin, a cultivator who came to buy a flying beast, saw Lin Feng walking towards him and his voice trembled slightly. He quickly bowed to Lin Feng and retreated to the side with his companions to make way for Lin Feng and the others. The market, which was originally deafening, suddenly became so silent because of the 3 words Region Lord Lin that one could hear a pin drop. Everyone looked at Lin Feng. Shock, fear, respect, worship, admiration. There were all kinds of gazes. In particular, many beautiful female cultivators saw that the legendary region lord of the Dragon Gate region, Lin Feng, was actually so young and handsome. All of them looked at Lin Feng affectionately and hoped that he would see them and take them into his harem. Lin Feng nodded to the cultivator and then left with little Yao Yao. Is Region Lord Lin nodding to me as a form of greeting? Oh my God! Region Lord Lin actually nodded to me as a form of greeting. Am I dreaming? The cultivator said excitedly. Many cultivators looked at that cultivator with envy, because in their opinion, Lin Feng nodded to that cultivator as a form of greeting, which was enough to brag about for the rest of his life. After buying an 8-winged flying griffin in the market, Lin Feng and the others sat on this flying beast. Roar! It was accompanied by an earth-shaking roar. The 8-winged flying griffin soared into the sky and disappeared in an instant. That's Region Lord Lin? Isn't he too young? Wow, not only is he young, but he's also very handsome. Isn't it said that Region Lord Lin is a three-headed and six-armed demon god? He's actually a young and handsome cultivator. Damn, those rumors are really unreliable. This Region Lord Lin looks very kind. I really didn't expect such a kind person to kill two Region Lords and the Tower Lord of the Divine Dark Tower. This Region Lord Lin doesn't look down on us because of his high status. I think he must be a good person. Those high and mighty Region Lords won't look at us properly. The whole market became lively. Lin Feng's appearance caused a great commotion. Even the city lord of the divine capital and the higher-ups of the various major powers were alarmed. Many people came to the market to visit Lin Feng, but Lin Feng had already left. 10 days later, Lin Feng returned to the Dragon Gate region. Duzu, you will personally lead the army and conquer all the territories of the Tianzhou region that originally belonged to Emperor Jun. If you see any other region that dares to fight with us for territory, don't be polite. Kill them without mercy. Lin Feng said. Yes, master. After receiving the order, Duzu went to organize the army and set off for the Tianzhou region. Very quickly, the clone sent someone to report to Lin Feng about the situation of the Dragon Gate region's army that had entered the Poison region. Because the Dragon Gate region and the Poison region were adjacent to each other, it was easy for the Dragon Gate region to mobilize an army to enter the Poison region. Therefore, the Dragon Gate region's army directly entered the Poison region and occupied 15 of the 120 ancient cities. The Golden Crow Sage personally led the Great Sun region's army and occupied 32 ancient cities of the Poison region. The Tianzhou region's army occupied 18 ancient cities of the Poison region. The other regions also occupied quite a few ancient cities of the Poison region. There were even some stronger ancient cities in the Poison region that were independent because there were some top clans in those ancient cities. Those clans had some terrifying foundations, so even many region lords did not attack those ancient cities. When the cultivators of the Tianzhou region heard that the region lord, Emperor Jun, had been killed, they gave up on the territory they occupied in the Poison region and retreated back to the Tianzhou region. The Divine Realm clone personally led the army and wanted to quickly occupy the 18 ancient cities that originally belonged to the Tianzhou region. However, the Golden Crow Sage also sent people to occupy the ancient cities that were originally occupied by the cultivators of the Tianzhou region. As a result, there were several large battles between the two sides. But later on, the Golden Crow Sage personally took action. The Divine Realm clone was not a match for the Golden Crow Sage, so the Dragon Gate region suffered heavy losses. Now, the Divine Realm clone sent people to deliver the battle report to ask for help from Lin Feng. This person's name was Shun Qingqing, and he was Shun Yingxin's uncle. Lin Feng replied, "Don't worry, I have a way to kill these golden crows." Lin Feng held the giant bow in one hand and simultaneously drew 9 magical arrows. The power of the dragon elephant enveloped these arrows. Immediately after, the power of the heavenly fire surrounded the Dracophant force. With the protection of the dragon elephant force, the heavenly fire would not be able to destroy the arrows in a short time. This short period of time was enough for the arrows to display their miraculous effects. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lin Feng drew his bow and shot an arrow. 9-star alignment. 9 arrows were shot out. An overwhelming number of fireballs fell from the sky. Some of the fireballs landed on the 9 arrows. These fireballs released powerful golden crow's flames, trying to devour and destroy the 9 arrows. However, the golden crow's flames were blocked by the heavenly fire surrounding the 9 arrows. The 9 arrows instantly arrived in front of the golden crows. Pooh, pooh, pooh. The sound of something being torn apart could be heard. One arrow after another pierced through the heads of the golden crows. 9 golden crows' heads instantly exploded. Then, the golden crows' corpses fell to the ground. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. Lin Feng continued to draw his bow and shoot arrows. A dense number of arrows shot towards the golden crows in the sky. Not good. The area lord of the Dragon Gate region, Lin Feng, is here. One of the golden crows cried out in fear. That golden crow was actually formed from the golden crow art. When Lin Feng and the 3 clans and 5 sects of the Black Stone City went to look for the heavenly fire, they were attacked by Jin Wushu. However, things had changed with the passage of time. Lin Feng was now the area lord of the Dragon Gate region, and his strength had greatly improved. Jin Wushu's cultivation had also improved a lot, but he was not able to enter the immortal state. Everyone who did not enter the immortal state was like an ant. Jin Wushu's words caused a great panic among the Golden Crows. The strong cultivators of the Golden Crow clan had also heard of Lin Feng's ferocious name. Now that they heard that Lin Feng was here, these Qinwu people fled in panic. However, Lin Feng's arrows had already locked onto many Golden Crows. Pooh, pooh, pooh. Piercing sounds could be heard. The Golden Crows were shot to death one after another. Even the Golden Crows formed by Jin Wushu were shot to death. Their corpses fell to the ground. More than half of the Golden Crows were shot to death by Lin Feng. Lin Feng, you're courting death. A roar shook the sky as a scorching sun slowly rose into the sky. The Golden Crow sage appeared and endless godly flames burned the sky. Lin Feng's arrows were instantly destroyed. Golden Crow sage, prepare to die. Lin Feng looked indifferent. He directly soared into the sky, and the 9 demons painting flew out. At the same time, the 3 venomous puppets flew out and split into 3 different directions, surrounding the Golden Crow sage. Those are Mu Qianzong's poisonous puppets. You refined them too. The Golden Crow sage's eyes flashed with killing intent. That's right, Golden Crow sage. Today is the day you die. Lin Feng shouted and controlled the 9 demons painting to attack the Golden Crow sage. Kill them. At the same time, the Immortal State clone led the Dragon Gate region's cultivators to attack the Great Sun region's cultivators. The morale of the Dragon Gate region's cultivators was greatly boosted. The Great Sun region's cultivator army and the Dragon Gate region's cultivator army clashed. Since the Dragon Gate region had a godly realm clone, they were invincible and led the Dragon Gate region's cultivator army to kill in all directions. The Great Sun region's cultivators were defeated. Lin Feng and the 3 poisonous puppets controlled the 9 demons painting to attack the Golden Crow sage. The Golden Crow sage was extremely terrifying because he was at level 3 of the Divine Fire realm. His cultivation level was too high. Compared to Emo Zixi, who Lin Feng had killed, Jun Tiandi's cultivation level was 2 levels higher. Moreover, the Golden Crow sage controlled the Fusang Divine Tree. It was a treasure made from a branch of the Fusang Divine Tree. It was about 1.5 meters long. With a light wave, it could release an endless amount of divine power. The battle was extremely tragic. The 2 sides fought for a day and a night. Lin Feng was almost killed by the Golden Crow sage several times. However, with the Death God's armor and the strength of his immortal body, Lin Feng managed to survive. The Golden Crow sage was also severely injured. He did not have Lin Feng's immortal body and could not quickly recover from his injuries. Therefore, the Golden Crow sage's battle power was constantly decreasing. Lin Feng took out the purple lightning hammer and activated it. He wanted to kill the Golden Crow sage. The Golden Crow sage was almost killed by Lin Feng's purple lightning hammer. In the end, the Golden Crow sage lost an arm. Then, he used a secret technique to escape back to the Great Sun region. Chapter 1473. The battle with the Golden Crow sage allowed Lin Feng to have a general understanding of his own strength. Although Lin Feng's strength was already extraordinary, there was still a large gap between him and a Divine Fire Realm expert. After all, Lin Feng was only at the 6th level of the Rebirth Realm. He was 2 realms away from the Divine Fire Realm, which was 14 small realms. He was 2 realms away from the Golden Crow sage, which was 17 small realms away. The reason why Lin Feng was able to fight with the Golden Crow sage for so long was mainly because of his own magic treasure, the 3 poisonous puppets, and the immortal divine body. Every realm in the Divine Fire Realm is like the difference between heaven and earth. It seems like this saying is true. Lin Feng frowned slightly. The Golden Crow sage was actually able to escape after activating the purple lightning hammer. It could be seen how strong the Golden Crow sage was. The Golden Crow sage was much stronger than Emo Zixi and Heavenly Emperor Jun. Now that the Golden Crow sage had escaped, he would definitely be more cautious. It would be even more difficult to kill the Golden Crow sage. It seems like I still need to continue increasing my strength. The stronger I am, the more tyrannical the power of the purple lightning hammer will be when I activate it. Lin Feng muttered to himself. The Golden Crow Sage's escape also meant that the Great Sun Domain's cultivator army was completely defeated. It was unstoppable. The Dragon Gate Domain's cultivator army not only occupied the 18 ancient cities that the Tianzhou Domain's cultivator army originally occupied. At the same time, they also occupied the 32 ancient cities that the Great Sun Domain's cultivators occupied. This way, the Dragon Gate Domain's cultivator army controlled 65 ancient cities of the Poison Domain. More than half of the Poison Domain's territory was occupied by the Dragon Gate Domain. Immediately after, all the empires under the 65 ancient cities began to build temples. And at this time, Lin Feng had already returned to the Black Rock City. 3 days later, news of victory came. Du Zhu and the 5 great clans of Tianzhou City worked together. With the 5 great clans of Tianzhou City breaking the restrictions of Tianzhou City, the Dragon Gate Domain's cultivators were able to break through Tianzhou City. And Heavenly Emperor Jun's family was destroyed. Heavenly Emperor Jun's family that had ruled Tianzhou City for millions of years became history. All the territories of Tianzhou region belonged to the Dragon Gate Domain. The 65 ancient cities of the Poison Domain also belonged to the Dragon Gate Domain. Now, the Dragon Gate region's strength could be said to have increased greatly. The so-called artifact cultivator was rather easy to understand. It meant that the artifact spirit used the artifact itself as its physical body. The artifact spirit used the artifact as its soul. This was how they cultivated. This was the same principle as how human cultivators cultivated. However, the artifact cultivator's path of cultivation was tens of thousands of times more difficult than that of human cultivators. Du Zhu rubbed his chin and said, "The Divine Dark Tower's artifact spirit might be an artifact cultivator. Now that it wants to hide, it won't be easy for us to find it." In the end, Lin Feng and Du Zhu returned to the Dragon Gate region. About 2 months later, a huge, twisting whirlpool suddenly appeared above Blackrock City. The whirlpool covered an area of more than 50 kilometers. Countless people were alarmed and looked at the huge vortex that had suddenly appeared in the sky in shock. They did not know why the vortex had appeared. Lin Feng walked out with little Yao Yao in his arms. "Big brother, what's that?" Little Yao Yao asked curiously. Lin Feng said, "Big brother doesn't know right now. Perhaps you'll find out later." Du Zhu said, "It's a space-time whirlpool." "A space-time whirlpool? What's that?" Lin Feng asked curiously. Du Zhu said, "It's a whirlpool that connects to space-time in the outer realm. A space-time whirlpool is equivalent to a transportation array that connects space-time in the outer realm. I'm afraid that something from the outer realm is about to descend into this world." Lin Feng's heart trembled. The outer realm actually referred to the vast and boundless starry sky world. Deities could travel to the outer realm. However, that didn't mean that one could travel to the outer realm just by breaking through to the deity realm. The outer realm was a pitch-black and cold world. It was boundless. Once one entered the outer realm, they would lose their way if they didn't have an ancient starry sky map. Once one got lost in the outer realm, then even if one was a god, only death would await one. Therefore, Lin Feng could actually travel to the outer realm. However, he didn't leave the exiled world. That was because Lin Feng didn't know how to get to the Tianwu continent from the exiled world. Without an ancient starry sky map, he would definitely die if he entered the outer realm. Asterisk rumble. Asterisk suddenly. A loud sound shook the heavens. It was as if something was about to rush out of the space-time whirlpool. Chapter 1474. What was about to descend? Countless people looked over, their eyes filled with curiosity. Of course, other than curiosity, they were also worried. After all, everything was unknown. Who knew what terrifying changes might occur? A loud rumble resounded through the sky. Finally, everyone saw what it was. A huge ancient ship flew out of the space-time vortex. An ancient ship? Du Zhu was shocked. In the past, Du Zhu had also traveled through the void. That was why he had seen an ancient ship in the void. However, Du Zhu had almost died in the starry void because he did not have the ancient starry sky map. In the end, he had narrowly escaped death and returned to the exiled world. Now that the ancient ship had descended, it was obvious that the cultivators on the ship had the ancient starry sky map. The fact that these people could sail the ancient starry sky ship through the starry void meant that the cultivators on the ship were extraordinarily powerful. One had to know that sailing through the starry void was a very dangerous thing. First, one had to deal with the space-time storms and the powerful beasts in the starry void. Without strength, sailing through the starry void was simply suicide. The ancient starry sky ship stopped above Blackrock City. Not long after, a little girl of 7 or 8 years old bounced out of the ship. The little girl was very lively. She wore a pure white dress. She looked like a little fairy. "It's little big sister." Little Yao Yao pointed at the little girl. Lin Feng was also very surprised. It was actually the little fairy he had seen in the sacred mountain. This little fairy actually existed in the world. Lin Feng was very surprised. Soon, more than 10 people walked out of the ancient starry sky ship. There were men and women, old and young, but each of them had an extraordinary aura. Little Fairy pointed at little Yao Yao and Lin Feng's arms and said something to the elders beside her. At that moment, a group of people flew down. An old man looked at little Yao Yao excitedly. "Is that Princess Yao Yao?" the old man asked. When he saw little Yao Yao, his tears fell like rain. "They're calling little Yao Yao Princess Yao Yao? Are they cultivators from the Lunar Monarchs faction?" Lin Feng's heart skipped a beat. He could not help but think. The Lunar Emperor was not from the banished Great World. He was only passing by the Great Exiled World, and could not bear to see the countless innocent creatures of the Great Exiled World die miserably at the hands of the foreign cultivators. That was why he descended to the Great Exiled World, leading the cultivators of the Great Exiled World to fight against the foreign cultivators. This meant that in the outside world, perhaps somewhere in the starry sky world, there should be members of the Lunar Emperor's clan. "Grandpa, who are you? Why do you know me?" Little Yao Yao, who was lying in Lin Feng's embrace, looked at the old man doubtfully. The old man replied, "Little princess, you were only 1 year old back then, and I carried you before." Lin Feng sucked in a breath of cold air. Little Yao Yao was sealed in stone by the Lunar Emperor during the Primordial Age. Billions of years had passed since the immemorial era. This old man who called himself Old Servant had lived from the Primordial era until now. What kind of cultivation base was he at? Giant God? Quasi-Emperor? It was Lin Feng's first time seeing an expert of this level. Little Yao Yao thought for a moment, then said, "Ah, Grandpa, are you Grandpa Chu?" When he heard little Yao Yao's words, the old man's tears began to flow again. He choked with sobs as he said, "I didn't expect little princess to still remember me. I finally found little princess. Even if I die, I'll still have the face to meet the emperor in the underworld." Daddy died, and so did Uncle Zhou, who took care of little Yao Yao. Only little Yao Yao was left. Later, Big Brother found little Yao Yao, and little Yao Yao had Big Brother. Now, little Yao Yao has Grandpa Chu and little Big Sister. Little Yao Yao smiled very happily. "Yao Yao, do you still remember Big Sister?" Little Fairy asked, pleasantly surprised. "Of course little Yao Yao remembers you. You're Uncle Zhou's daughter, so you're little Yao Yao's little big sister." Little Yao Yao said. Lin Feng was shocked. No wonder little Yao Yao had called this little big sister when they had first met. It turned out that this little fairy was little Yao Yao's Uncle Zhou's daughter. These memories should have been passed down through little Yao Yao's bloodline. The fact that little Yao Yao had been able to recognize this unfathomable old servant was probably also a part of her bloodline. When Princess Xian Yun was dreaming, she saw Princess Yao Yao. Maybe it's because of her bloodline. In her dream, Princess Xian Yun's soul traveled to another world, and she saw Princess Yao Yao. If it wasn't for Princess Xian Yun, we wouldn't have been able to find Princess Yao Yao. The old man said. Lin Feng asked, "Was Princess Xian Yun also sealed in a stone?" The old man nodded. That year, the great emperor discovered that Princess Xian Yun was facing a calamity, so he sealed her away. The great emperor sealed little Yao Yao? Lin Feng was dumbfounded. Princess Xian Yun had been sealed away by little Yao Yao's father, the great emperor of the moon? The old man seemed to know what Lin Feng was thinking. He said, "The great emperor I'm talking about isn't the great emperor of the moon, but the great emperor of the sun. The great emperor of the sun and the great Emperor of the Moon were brothers. It's the first time such a thing has happened since the beginning of time. Lin Feng was shocked. Becoming a great emperor was as difficult as ascending to the heavens, but little Yao Yao's father actually had two great emperors, and they were even brothers. This was too shocking. The old man continued, "We're here to take Princess Yao Yao away." Lin Feng had already guessed the old man's purpose for coming. Although he was reluctant, Lin Feng knew that little Yao Yao leaving with them was the best choice. She would return to her family. She would have the protection of experts. She would also receive the best training. In the future, when little Yao Yao grew up with her bloodline, she would at least reach the giant god realm or even the great emperor realm. If she could prove her Tao, she could even become an empress. No, little Yao Yao wants to stay by Big Brother's side. Little Yao Yao will never leave Big Brother's side. Little Yao Yao hugged Lin Feng's neck tightly, burying her head in Lin Feng's chest. "Princess Yao Yao, listen to me. We're going back to our home." The old man lovingly stroked little Yao Yao's head. But suddenly, the old man's expression became incomparably gloomy. His eyes were filled with boundless killing intent. At that moment, Lin Feng felt as if he was facing a grim reaper who had walked out of hell. The little princess's qi and blood are collapsing. Who took her emperor's blood? The old man suppressed his monstrous anger and killing intent as he looked at Lin Feng and asked. Lin Feng said, "A power called the Divine Dark Tower captured little Yao Yao and took her emperor's blood to cultivate the divine transformation fruit." Divine Dark Tower. The old man roared, and the void within 1,000,000 miles instantly collapsed. Lin Feng was horrified. Wasn't this strength too terrifying? Chapter 1475. That old man's name was Chu Wanyan. Back then, he had taken care of the young great emperor of the moon. Mr. Chu was very close to the great emperor of the moon and little Yao Yao. When he saw that little Yao Yao had been killed, he was furious. Thought Lin Feng, the godly Dark Tower was in trouble. With that guy's strength, he probably had a way to find the godly Dark Tower. The divine Dark Tower shouldn't exist anymore, said some of little Yao Yao's clansmen angrily. Their clan had two great emperors. How glorious was that? But now, the daughter of a great emperor had been kidnapped and her blood was being used to make Huashan fruits. How could they tolerate such anger? It wasn't just anger anymore. They also felt sorry for little Yao Yao. They also felt humiliated. Someone had dared to kill their daughter. That was a provocation to their clan. "Where's the divine Dark Tower?" asked a young man. He was a god and extremely powerful. He had great imperial blood and was a descendant of the great emperor of the sun. He was the most outstanding leader of the younger generation. His name was Chu Fei. He had been in high spirits, but now he looked gloomy. The divine Dark Tower used to have 3 strongholds. A while ago, I went to the stronghold where little Yao Yao was imprisoned. I wanted to destroy it, but it was already empty. I don't know where the other 2 strongholds are, said Lin Feng. The divine Dark Tower will be destroyed. Mr. Chu's voice was filled with killing intent. He had personally gone to the various regions. Mr. Chu didn't hide his qi at all. The leaders who were in seclusion sensed his terrifying qi and his murderous intent. They were all trembling. It was difficult to imagine what kind of strong cultivator had arrived. Even though they were gods, when they sensed his qi, they still felt as weak as ants. "Where is the divine Dark Tower? Give us clues and we'll live. Those who don't will die," said Mr. Chu indifferently. His voice was filled with murderous intent. The leaders were all astonished. Who was this person? Why did he want to find the divine Dark Tower? It was obvious that this strong cultivator hated the divine Dark Tower. Could it be the great emperor of the moon's clansmen? These domain lords were all shrewd people, and they all thought of a certain possibility. The divine Tower of Darkness had once imprisoned the crown princess. If it wasn't for Lin Feng rescuing her, she might have already died in the divine Darkness Tower. Did the clansmen of the lunar emperor find the banished world? If that was the case, then everything could be easily explained. The domain lords told Elder Chu everything they knew. They didn't dare to hide anything because Elder Chu was too powerful. They didn't want to bring about their own deaths. In the end, Elder Chu found the 2 strongholds of the divine Dark Tower. He forcefully tore through the void and instantly arrived in front of the first stronghold. Then, he raised his right hand and tore apart the crystal wall of this small world. Who dares to destroy the miniature world of my divine dark tower? Furious roars were heard as countless experts rushed outside. Elder Chu's expression was emotionless. He waved his hand, and a monstrous amount of spiritual energy gushed out. The small world where the divine dark tower's stronghold was located had been refined by Elder Chu. It had become the size of a palm. There were many divine dark tower cultivators inside. They were terrified and wanted to rush out of the small world. Elder Chu smashed the small world with his palm. His cultivation was too terrifying. It was so powerful that it made people despair. Elder Chu tore through the void again and arrived in another small world. He tore apart the crystal wall and entered this small world. Ancestor, please. The cultivators in this small world knew that an expert had invaded and couldn't help but shout in anger. They brought out a piece of stone. This was the trump card of the Divine Dark Tower. The Divine Dark Tower had two trump cards. The first was the supreme treasure of the Divine Dark Tower. The Divine Dark Tower was named after the supreme treasure of the Divine Dark Tower. The second trump card was the self-sealed stone. This was a true God realm existence. It was ancient and powerful. It had sealed itself in the stone and lived until now. Who are you? How dare you trespass into the small world of my Divine Dark Tower? The being sealed within the stone said, How dare a force like this harm the little princess? You can't be forgiven. Elder Chu's voice was cold. He slapped the self-sealed true God expert with his palm. The true God expert felt that something was wrong when Elder Chu attacked. It was too terrifying. He couldn't resist at all. Without thinking, he turned around and fled. However, he was slapped to death by Elder Chu. He couldn't resist Elder Chu's attack at all. The ancestor is dead. Countless people cried out in horror. The Divine Dark Tower was originally in seclusion to repair the tower due to its injuries. However, it was now alarmed and came out of seclusion. It transformed into a wisp of black gas and wanted to escape. However, how could it escape under Elder Chu's nose? In the end, the Divine Dark Tower was destroyed by Elder Chu's palm. The supreme treasure was destroyed just like that. After that, Elder Chu gently stomped his foot, and the small world collapsed. Nobody could escape. All the cultivators of the Divine Dark Tower died. From destroying the first stronghold to traversing billions of miles to destroying the second stronghold, it took less than an hour. Elder Chu's cultivation level was really high. The Divine Dark Tower was destroyed just like that. This caused a huge uproar in the banished world. Many of the area leaders were extremely worried because they were worried that the mysterious old man would attack them again. The Golden Crow Sage was probably the most frightened. He had a grudge with Lin Feng, and now those strong cultivators were in the Longmin territory. The Golden Crow Sage was scared out of his wits. Elder Chu returned to the Longmin territory. Little Yao Yao didn't want to leave with Elder Chu and the others, so Elder Chu and the others stayed in Blackrock City for the time being. However, Little Yao Yao still liked to play with Little Fairy. Elder Chu looked at Little Yao Yao, who was playing with Little Fairy in the distance. He had a kind expression on his face. It was hard to imagine that this kind old man had just destroyed the Divine Dark Tower. I still need you to persuade Princess Yao Yao, Elder Chu said. I will do my best, Lin Feng said. Elder Chu said, Princess Yao Yao is indebted to you. What do you want in return? Magical powers? Treasures? Wealth? You can ask for anything you want. Lin Feng said, Everything I did for Yao Yao wasn't because I wanted anything from you, Elder. Elder Chu said, Of course, I know that. That's why I'm really grateful to you. Lin Feng hesitated for a moment, then said, Since Elder Chu says so, then I would like to ask for an ancient star map. Where do you want to go? Elder Chu asked. Elder, have you heard of the Tianwu continent? Lin Feng asked. So that's where you want to go. Elder Chu nodded and said, At night, I will send someone to deliver the ancient star map to you. Elder Chu said, Little friend, since you asked for the ancient star chart, entering the starry sky world outside will be very dangerous. I have an ancient starship here. Although it's not big, it can still travel long distances. Today, I will give it to you." As Elder Chu spoke, he took out a transparent glass bottle. Within the glass bottle, a storm swept through and waves rolled. An ancient starship that had shrunk countless times was sealed within the glass bottle. "Many thanks, Senior." Lin Feng accepted the ancient starship and thanked Elder Chu. 3 days later, Elder Chu and the others decided to leave. "Big brother, little Yao Yao will definitely come and find you." Little Yao Yao was crying very sadly. Her face was drenched in tears. Lin Feng waved goodbye to little Yao Yao. The huge ancient starship soared into the sky and entered the space-time vortex, disappearing without a trace. Following that, the space-time vortex also disappeared without a trace. The sky returned to its usual calm. When they heard that the Lunar Emperor's people had left, the other area rulers could finally breathe a sigh of relief. They had been on edge all this time. "When do you plan to leave?" Du Zhu asked. Said Lin Feng. "Soon," said Lin Feng. "Did you kill the Golden Crow Sage before you left?" Du Zhu asked. Lin Feng replied, "He's back in Great Sun City. It's too difficult to kill him. He's just lucky." Du Zhu said, "Unfortunately, I couldn't kill Mose Tianzuan. I still want to steal the magic lotus, but I don't know where he's hiding." Lin Feng muttered, "Heavenly demons are crafty. Finding him is as difficult as ascending to the heavens." Du Zhu said, "During this time, apart from the Golden Crow Sage, all the other area rulers had come to Blackrock City to visit Lin Feng. Of course, this was because of Elder Chu. Lin Feng's identity was mysterious, and these area rulers even thought that Lin Feng was from the Lunar Emperor's clan. Otherwise, why would Lin Feng have risked his life to enter the Divine Dark Tower for little Yao Yao? Of course, Lin Feng wouldn't explain anything. The more these area rulers misunderstood, the better. This way, they would be even more afraid of the Dragon Gate region. Wenren Muyue was planning to resign from her position as the city lord of Blackrock City. She had come to bid farewell to Lin Feng, and there was some ambiguity between the two of them. When she heard that Wenren Muyue was planning to go back and cultivate, she didn't know when they would meet again. Parting always brought with it some sadness. Wenren Muyue left the Blackrock City and returned to her family. Lin Feng was currently thinking about his successor. This made it difficult for Lin Feng, as it was difficult to find a suitable successor who could convince the masses. Du Zhu said, "The 5 great clans of the Tianzhou region aren't simple. Each of them should have a terrifying background." "You mean a self-sealing stone?" Lin Feng was shocked. Du Zhu said, "That's right. Back then, Emperor Jun Tian didn't dare to touch the 5 great clans because he was worried about this matter. You should know that the 5 great clans are even older than the Jun family." "You mean to say that we should let the 5 great clans control the Dragon Gate region together?" Lin Feng asked. Du Zhu nodded. "That's right. This way, we can prevent the power from being concentrated in the hands of a single clan. The 5 great clans can also keep each other in check." Lin Feng nodded. This was a good idea. He summoned the clan leaders of the 5 great clans to Blackrock City and announced his decision. They were to form a group of 5 that was similar to the Round Table Conference. The 5 clan leaders would be allowed to control the Dragon Gate region together. Right now, apart from the Great Sun region, the leaders of the other regions are on good terms with me. After I leave, you can look for them and discuss the matter of building a shrine in their regions." Lin Feng said. He paused for a moment, then continued, "There might be some obstacles, but I hope that you can overcome them. When I return from the outer regions, I hope to see results." The 5 clan leaders were somewhat puzzled as to why Lin Feng was so enthusiastic about building a shrine for them, but they understood that as subordinates, they shouldn't ask questions like this. Now, Lin Feng was about to enter the outer regions. Although they didn't know what Lin Feng was going to do there, they were certain of one thing. Lin Feng must have grasped the ancient star map. This shocked them, as anyone who could control an ancient star map must have come from one of the superpowers in the outer regions. Now, the 5 clan leaders had the same thought. Could Lin Feng be the young master of one of the superpowers in the outer regions? Chapter 1477. The news that Lin Feng was about to travel to the extraterritorial world quickly spread throughout the entire Great Exiled World. This matter made the godly state experts of the great exiled world extremely envious. Many godly state experts hoped that they would be able to travel to the extraterritorial world one day. However, no one had the ancient starry sky map and was destined to be unable to leave. Cultivators were full of adventurous spirit. Especially powerful cultivators, their thoughts were more active. They were unwilling to be bound to one place, and were unwilling to stay in one place for the rest of their lives. They also yearned to head to a bigger stage and a wider world. Traveling to the extraterritorial world was an opportunity. Although it was full of danger, it was also full of opportunities. Cultivators challenged danger and sought opportunities. This kind of life was more exciting and not a waste of time. Moreover, if one wanted to become a supreme expert, one would definitely need to find more powerful inheritances and resources. In the extraterritorial world, there was the most ancient extraterritorial battlefield. It was a battlefield for gods and even emperors. One could obtain heaven-defying inheritances and treasures there. Traveling to the extraterritorial world allowed one to enter many unexplored ancient star domains. The treasures in the ancient star domains were up for grabs. A few territorial lords personally came to see Lin Feng, hoping to follow Lin Feng to the extraterritorial world. These territorial lords had cultivated to the godly state and had lived for millions of years. However, they had been unable to leave the great exiled world. In the eyes of outsiders, they were lofty existences. However, in their eyes, the great exiled world was like a cage that trapped them. Lin Feng did not directly agree to the requests of these territorial lords because he was not familiar with them. He did not know if there would be any unforeseen events if he brought them out. Moreover, some territorial lords were abnormally powerful, so it was best to be careful. Therefore, Lin Feng told these domain masters who came to find him and expressed their desire to travel with him to the outer realm to wait for a period of time. When he returned from the outer realm, the next time he left the world of exile, he would definitely bring them along. These area lords had already lived for over 1,000,000 years. Naturally, they didn't mind waiting for a few more years, so they agreed. The clan heads of the 5 great clans felt that this was a good opportunity. They personally paid a visit to the area lords, hoping that they could build a temple for Lin Feng in their territories. Now, these area lords were wholeheartedly thinking that they could travel with Lin Feng to the outer realm in the future, so they quickly agreed to the clan head's suggestion. Parting was always accompanied by reluctance, especially since Yun Dieri and Lin Feng had already had a physical relationship. Knowing that Lin Feng was about to leave, she was even more reluctant. She wanted to leave with Lin Feng, but the journey was long and the outer space was fraught with danger. Thus, Lin Feng did not allow Yun Dieri to follow him. Lin Feng took out the ancient ship that Elder Chu had given him from the porcelain bottle that sealed it. The ancient ship returned to its normal size. It was about 15 or 16 meters long and looked very simple. It was densely covered in runes, and Lin Feng was quite happy to see that it even had an astral stone cannon. The astral stone cannon could be loaded with spirit stones and could fire with great destructive power. Lin Feng and Du Zhu boarded the ancient ship and entered the outer realm. On a mountain peak in the Poison Fog forest in the Chaos region, Poison Rose stared blankly at the sky. A middle-aged cultivator appeared and said, "Rose, I went to see Lin Feng. He just left. If you have anything you want to say to him, I can go and tell him for you," said a middle-aged cultivator, appearing in front of her. This middle-aged man was the Chaos Region Lord, and he was one of the area lords who wanted to leave the world of exile. Poison Rose bit her lip and said, "You shouldn't have come here. Perhaps one day, I will also leave the world of exile. I hope that you won't hate me so much," the Chaos Region Lord said. Poison Rose's expression was uncertain, and she asked, Will he come back?" "He will. He said that he will come back to the world of exile, so he will definitely come back," the Chaos Region Lord said. "All right, thank you for telling me all this," Poison Rose said. The Chaos Region Lord was as happy as a child. How many years had it been since his daughter had spoken to him so calmly? Even though he had only spoken 3 sentences today, he had only spoken 3 sentences. The outer realm was dark and cold. Of course, to cultivators, their 6 senses were very powerful, so even in the dark world, they could see all kinds of things from very far away. Standing on the ship's cabin, they could feel the cold wind. Looking into the distance, they could see a huge, oval-shaped planet. That was the world of exile. Duzu said, "The world of exile is also one of the 3,000 great worlds. However, it is ranked very low, so it lacks resources and has very few powerful cultivators. It has been tens of thousands of years since the world of exile appeared, but no one has been able to become an emperor." Lin Feng said, "Among the 3,000 great worlds, what are the more powerful ones?" Duzu said, "The immortal realm, the immortal realm, the Buddhist realm, the dragon realm, the kingdom of the 9 states, the demon realm, and the monster realm are known as the 7 paramount realms. These are the top 7 great worlds among the 3,000 great worlds." Lin Feng was shocked. The kingdom of the 9 states? Could it be the kingdom of the 9 states on the other side of the Tianwu continent? Duzu said, "That's right. That's the kingdom of the 9 states. It is the cradle of powerful cultivators and has given birth to many mighty human emperors. The 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors are all figures from the kingdom of the 9 states. Perhaps the kingdom of the 9 states is the birthplace of the human race. It is said that Nuwa lived in the kingdom of the 9 states before the Great War of the Xiantian life forms." Du Zu's words shocked Lin Feng. He did not expect the kingdom of the 9 states to be one of the 7 paramount realms. After returning to the Tianwu continent and settling matters there, Lin Feng would head to the kingdom of the 9 states to broaden his horizons. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, 3 terrifying auras appeared in the distance. Lin Feng and Du Zu were both alarmed. They looked into the distance and saw a scorching divine sun flying toward them. A one-armed cultivator walked out from the scorching divine sun. This cultivator was none other than the Golden Crow Holy Lord. As for the other 2, they were sealed within the stone. This was probably the foundation of the Golden Crow tribe. A god sealed in stone. The 3 powerful beings appeared and surrounded the ancient void ship Lin Feng was on. "Golden Crow Holy Lord, you should be glad that I did not go to the Great Sun Domain to kill you. Today, you actually came out to die? Have you washed your neck clean? If you're clean, I can cut off your head right now." Lin Feng sneered at the Golden Crow Holy Lord. Chapter 1478. When the Golden Crow sage heard Lin Feng's arrogant words, he sneered disdainfully and said, "Little boy, you're about to die, yet you're still so arrogant. Where did you get your courage from? We've been waiting for you to come here to kill you. The starry sky world is destined to be your burial ground." "Ha ha ha ha. Kill me?" Lin Feng suddenly burst into laughter. The Golden Crow sage looked glum. He looked at Lin Feng coldly and said, "You're acting recklessly. You're still laughing? You'll be crying soon." As soon as the Golden Crow sage finished talking, Lin Feng shouted, "Come out, you 5. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. 5 stones flew out of the ancient boat. Each stone had a godly cultivator sealed inside. Those were the treasures of the 5 great clans. And now, Lin Feng had asked them to come out. "You're plotting against us?" The Golden Crow Saint Monarch's face turned extremely ugly. "Back then, Du Zu and I talked about you. Back then, I thought that you were hiding in Great Sun City and that it was your territory. It would be extremely difficult to kill you. So I gave up on the idea of going to Great Sun City to kill you. Later, I spread the news that I was going to travel in the starry sky. I wanted to give you a chance to kill me. If you hadn't come, all my efforts would have been in vain. If you had come, you wouldn't have been able to leave. I knew that you would have come. Because I have the star map. It's extremely important to gods. You want to steal it from me," said Lin Feng, smiling coldly. "It doesn't matter whether I have a powerful force behind me or not. As long as you get the ancient star map, you can go anywhere you want. Now is the best time to kill me. As I expected, you really did come, and you've used all your power." Lin Feng smiled coldly. "I can't believe a little boy like you plotted against me." The Golden Crow Saint Monarch's expression was extremely gloomy, and his face was extremely ugly. He was originally full of confidence when he came to rob and kill Lin Feng, but now he found out that he had been schemed against by Lin Feng. One could imagine how depressed he was now. "Ha ha ha ha, after the 3 of you fall, the Great Sun Domain will also be my territory. 5 elders, Lend me a hand and kill the three of them with all your might. Lin Feng shouted. At the same time, he summoned his godly state clone and the three poisonous puppets. Lin Feng's side was equivalent to 11 deity realm experts. Although the cultivation of the three poison puppets was not high, they were difficult to destroy. In addition, the divine ability they used contained the power of poison, so they could not be underestimated. Don't worry, fellow cultivator Lin. Those three people will die today. The ancestors of the 5 major clans, who had sealed themselves in the stone, let out a long howl. Let's go. The Golden Crow Saint Monarch shouted in a deep voice. He turned around and flew into the distance, wanting to escape. If Lin Feng only had Du Zhu, the godly state clone, and the 3 poisonous puppets. The Golden Crow Saint Monarch believed that with the profound realms of the 3 Qinwu people, they would definitely be able to kill Lin Feng. However, with the addition of the 5 ancestors of the 5 great clans, the balance immediately tilted. Originally, the advantage of the Golden Crow Saint Monarch and the others was that their realms were higher than Lin Feng's. After all, even Du Zhu's godly state clone had not broken through to the divine fire realm, while the Golden Crow Saint Monarch and the other 2 experts of their clan were all in the divine fire realm. However, the 5 ancestors of the 5 great clans were also in the divine fire realm. Now, their realms could not suppress the cultivators on Lin Feng's side. They were at an absolute disadvantage in terms of numbers. No matter how they fought, they would definitely lose this battle. We can't escape. Lin Feng sneered and directly used the secret technique of the Celestial Master Sect. In the starry sky world, the stars that were revolving actually shot out beams of light. The dense beams of light intertwined to form a formation. The Celestial Master Sect could use all kinds of power to create a formation, including the stars in the outer realms. This was the heaven-defying ability of the Celestial Master Sect. The formation sealed off the starry sky. The Golden Crow Saint Monarch and the other 2 were trapped. The battle instantly broke out. The ancestor of the Wunren clan of the 5 great clans came out to help Lin Feng attack the Golden Crow Saint Monarch. The other 4 divided into 2 groups and attacked the 2 experts of the Qinwu people who were sealed in the stone. Du Zhu, the ancestor of the Wunren clan, the godly state clone, and the 3 poisonous puppets all charged toward the Golden Crow Saint Monarch. Du Zhu condensed the kingdom of poison and suppressed it. The godly state clone held the great Baron War Spear and tore through the void. The 3 poisonous puppets condensed 3 poisonous dragons and pounced on the Golden Crow Saint Monarch. The ancestor of the Wunren clan condensed a Void War Spear. The Void War Spear pierced through the void and shot toward the 3 poisonous puppets. Lin Feng controlled the ancient ship and ignited the Spirit Stone Cannon. Boom, boom, boom. The Spirit Stone Cannon fired countless Spirit Stones at the Golden Crow Saint Monarch and exploded in the starry sky. Facing so many attacks, no matter how strong the Golden Crow Saint Monarch was, he couldn't withstand it. He only resisted for more than 30 rounds before Du Zhu seized the opportunity. Du Zhu sent him flying with a slap. Then, the ancestor of the Wunren clan condensed a sword chi and almost cut the Golden Crow Saint Monarch in half. The Golden Crow Saint Monarch was furious and roared, "Lin Feng, you little bastard. I've been unhindered for my entire life, and now I've fallen in your hands. Even if I die, I won't let you go." Puff. The godly state clone took advantage of the Golden Crow Saint Monarch's distraction and hid behind him. He directly pierced the Golden Crow Saint Monarch's chest with the Great Baron War Spear. The Golden Crow Saint Monarch suffered a near-fatal injury. Lin Feng looked at the Golden Crow Saint Monarch indifferently and sneered, "Soon, your soul will be destroyed. You won't even have the chance to turn into a ghost. How can you come to me when you're dead? How laughable." Then, he took a step forward and arrived in front of the Golden Crow Saint Monarch. He slapped the Golden Crow Saint Monarch's body. A loud bang was heard. The Golden Crow Saint Monarch's body exploded, leaving only a ball of origin energy. Lin Feng put the ball of origin energy into a spatial porcelain bottle. After the Golden Crow Saint Monarch was killed, Lin Feng and the others went to help the other 4 ancestors. In less than 15 minutes, the other 2 experts of the Qinwu people were killed, and their origin energy was also taken by Lin Feng. Thank you, 5 ancestors. It's just a small token of my appreciation. Lin Feng waved his right hand and 5 rivers of spirit stones flew out. Each river had 1,000,000,000 top-grade spirit stones. Cultivation spirit stones. The 5 ancestors were very excited. There were no spirit stones in the exiled world, but that didn't mean that they had never heard of them. The 5 ancestors knew that the spirit stones could help their families cultivate many young cultivators. Young cultivators were the future of their families. Of course, they're for the 5 ancestors. I'll have to trouble you to take care of the exiled world. Lin Feng smiled. Don't worry, fellow Taoist Lin. We won't disappoint you. We've heard that you've urged the 5 clan leaders to build temples. When you return to the exiled world, you'll see that your temples have already appeared in every town in the exiled world. The 5 old ancestors accepted the spirit stones and said with a smile, "Ha ha ha, thank you, fellow Taoists. Let's part ways here. See you again." Lin Feng clasped his fists and bowed. See you again. The 5 ancestors said at the same time. After that, Lin Feng put away his clone and the 3 poisonous puppets and boarded the ancient ship in the starry sky with Du Zhu. The ancient starship trembled slightly before it pierced through the starry sky and disappeared. The 5 ancestors returned to the exiled world. Chapter 1479. The ancient ship sailed through the dark and cold outer realm. Lin Feng, on the other hand, had refined the origin energy of the Golden Crow Sage and the other 2 Kinwu people. His cultivation had broken through to the peak of the 9th level of the Rebirth Realm, and he was only 1 step away from the 10th level of the Rebirth Realm. I'm 1 step closer to the Divine Realm. Lin Feng revealed a smile. After sailing in the outer realm for a month, the cultivation of the Divine Realm clone broke through again, reaching the 10th level of the Nihility God Realm. Next, we need to ignite the Divine Flame. We need to find a cluster of fire origin to help the Divine Realm clone ignite the Divine Flame, Du Zhu said. The origin of fire, fused with the Divine Court, ignited the Divine Flame, and turned into a Divine Flame Realm expert. The more powerful the fire origin source he found, the more powerful he would be when he ignited the Divine Flame. Although Lin Feng had 3 heavenly flames, he would not use them to ignite the Divine Flame for the Divine Realm clone, because the origin of the heavenly flame was refined by Lin Feng. If he wanted to use the origin of the heavenly flame to ignite the Divine Flame for the Divine Realm clone, this kind of heavenly flame would become a part of the Divine Realm clone's body, and Lin Feng would lose this kind of heavenly flame. At that time, Lin Feng would not be able to use this kind of heavenly flame, unless he killed the Divine Realm clone, took back the heavenly flame, and refined it again. The heavenly flame was too important to Lin Feng, and the Divine Realm clone was just a clone. Consuming a type of heavenly flame to ignite the Divine Flame for the Divine Realm clone would be a loss. Of course, even if he didn't use the heavenly flame, Lin Feng would still find a powerful earth flame or demon flame for the Divine Realm clone to ignite the Divine Flame. Lin Feng said, "Is it better to use earth flame to ignite the Divine Flame? Is it better to use demonic flames?" Du Zhu said, "Earth fire has its own advantages, and demonic fire has its own advantages. I don't think there's a problem with using earth fire or demonic fire. Of course, heavenly fire is fine too, but I don't think you'll use heavenly fire. It's not worth it to use a cluster of heavenly fire origin just to ignite a godly realm clone. Furthermore, heavenly fire is too powerful. If the godly realm clone can't withstand the power of heavenly fire, it might be burned to ashes." Lin Feng nodded. "All right, let's go and find earth fire or bestial fire. We'll use whatever fire we can find." The ancient ship sailed for another half a month. It was then that Lin Feng entered a new star region. Gazing into the distance, he could see that the star region was filled with sinister energy and black mists roiled about. It exuded a bone-chilling aura. Moreover, they could vaguely hear a voice that sent chills down their spines. Those voices. It sounded like the weeping of the undead. "We're in the Necromancer Star Ocean," the poison ancestor said in a grave tone. Lin Feng recalled the route on the ancient star map and discovered that there was indeed a place called the Necromancer Star Ocean in this starry sky world. There was even a special note on the map about this place. This is a very dangerous place. Be careful. No matter what happens, do not disembark rashly. At the end of the note were the words, remember, remember, remember. Obviously, the Necromancer's Star Ocean was extremely strange and terrifying. Otherwise, the note wouldn't have emphasized the need to be careful. Lin Feng asked, "Is there something wrong with the Necromancer's Star Ocean?" Du Zhu replied, "Rumor has it that this place is very strange. If you get lost, you'll die without a grave. In the end, you'll become an undead here." "Is this place really that scary?" Lin Feng was shocked. Du Zhu nodded and said, "This place has formed a powerful magnetic field, and many strange things can happen there. That's why many people are wary of this place." A powerful magnetic field? Why would it form such a powerful magnetic field? Lin Feng frowned slightly. A magnetic field was a very difficult phenomenon to explain. Once a magnetic field was formed, many terrifying things would happen. A cultivator's divine sense and magic power would be disrupted by the magnetic field and become unable to use them. To a cultivator, this could be said to be fatal. A magnetic field was just that terrifying. It was full of mysteries and unknowns. Du Zhu said, "Rumor has it that an emperor once died in this starry sky. Of course, I'm not sure if that's true or not. An emperor is equivalent to a lofty heavenly Tao. If an emperor really died in this place, perhaps a magnetic field would really form." Lin Feng rubbed his chin. The ancient starship continued to sail through the Necromancer's Star Ocean. This starry sky was very large, and even after sailing for a long time, they still couldn't leave. Bang, bang, bang. One day, the ancient starship was attacked by some terrifying creature, and a series of violent sounds rang out. Then, the ancient starship started to sway. "What the hell is that?" Lin Feng stood up with a gloomy expression. He wanted to go out and take a look. "Don't go out. There are some unknown terrifying creatures roaming the Necromancer's Star Ocean. It's said that they're evil corpses formed by cultivators who died in the starry sky. You should know that those cultivators from the starry sky are a huge headache for even emperors," Du Zhu said in a low voice. Lin Feng felt his scalp go numb. He and Du Zhu were in trouble. They couldn't go out, but those terrifying creatures outside were attacking the ancient starship. If the ancient starship was destroyed then, at that time, Lin Feng and Du Zhu would have to face those terrifying creatures head-on. Who knew what would happen? Would the evil spirits roaming the Necromancer's Star Ocean be afraid of Buddhism's supreme treasures? Lin Feng pondered and took out the Sarira and Bodhi seed. He then circulated the Great Karma Technique and the Great Purification Technique. These two 3,000 Great Taoists were related to Buddhism. As the two 3,000 Great Taoists circulated, the power of karma poured into the Sarira. The power of purification poured into the Bodhi seed as well. The two treasures, the Sarira and the Bodhi bead, released bursts of golden light. Within the golden light, two ancient Buddhas appeared. Of these two ancient Buddhas, one had a benevolent countenance, while the other had a dignified countenance. The benevolent ancient Buddha was the manifestation of the Sarira. The dignified ancient Buddha was the manifestation of the Bodhi seed. I heard the sound of Dharma, and I obtained something I never had before. My heart was overjoyed, and all doubts were cleared. Buddhism of Shilai Ming did not lose out to Mahayana. The sound of Buddha was wonderful, and it could remove the annoyance of all living beings. I've obtained everything, and hearing it also removed my worries and annoyance. The two ancient Buddhas were chanting Buddhist scriptures. This was Buddhism's magnificent Dharma Sutra. As the two ancient Buddhas chanted, the sound of Buddhist scriptures could be heard. Streams of Buddhist karma surged out. Then, the Buddhist karma that surged out enveloped the ancient starship. Screech! At that moment, a sharp, ear-piercing cry came from outside. The terrifying creatures attacking the ancient starship seemed to have been injured by the Buddhist karma. In the end, the terrifying creatures retreated. Lin Feng and Du Zhu both sighed in relief. Fortunately, I have Buddhism's supreme treasures. Otherwise, we would have been in trouble today. Lin Feng took a deep breath. Du Zhu nodded. We have to quickly leave this Death Star Ocean. This place is too strange and terrifying. Lin Feng nodded. He felt the same way. He activated the ancient starship's formation, and the ancient starship's speed increased significantly. It turned into a streak of light and flew into the distance. We unknowingly lost our way and entered the ancient starry sky path that leads to the netherworld. Lin Feng was in a terrible mood. The netherworld was a place where only the dead would go. If he and Du Zhu really went to the netherworld, it meant that he and Du Zhu would turn into undead. But now, Lin Feng didn't know how to change their course. They're all dead. I'm the only one left alive. Suddenly, a faint voice resounded between heaven and earth. If one listened carefully, it sounded like a woman's voice. Who's talking? Lin Feng was puzzled. No one's talking. Du Zhu muttered. You didn't hear anyone talking? Lin Feng looked at Du Zhu in shock. Du Zhu nodded. I didn't hear anything. Lin Feng muttered. Did I hear wrong? Lin Feng returned to the cabin and studied the ancient starry sky map. He hoped to find a way to leave as soon as possible. He had to return to the correct starry sky map as soon as possible. Otherwise, Lin Feng was really worried that they would enter the netherworld like the ancient starships. If that happened, they would be doomed eternally. They're all dead. I'm the only one left. Suddenly, the voice sounded again. It was much clearer than before. Lin Feng suddenly jumped up from the ground. Du Zhu called out, Are you all right? Did you lose your mind because you couldn't find a way to escape? Lin Feng kicked Du Zhu away. Du Zhu didn't mind and crawled up from the ground. Lin Feng said, I heard that voice again. What was that voice? Du Zhu asked, puzzled. They're all dead. I'm the only one left, Lin Feng said. At this time, the poison ancestor also felt that something was wrong. He gulped and said, This undead astral ocean is really too strange. I'm afraid that we've encountered something even stranger. Lin Feng nodded and said, I need to calm down and try to communicate with that existence. He sat down cross-legged and tried his best to calm down. Gradually, Lin Feng heard that voice again. They're all dead. I'm the only one left. This time, it was much clearer than before. Gradually, Lin Feng seemed to see a woman very, very far away. She was walking alone in the starry sky world. She was filled with sorrow. Her back was facing Lin Feng. She kept repeating the same sentence. It was as if she had been abandoned by the world. Judging from her back, she should be an extremely beautiful woman with a perfect figure. Her jet black hair fell to her waist, and her long white dress made her look like a goddess from the 9 heavens. Who is she? Why is she walking alone in the starry sky world? Lin Feng was puzzled. The appearance of such a woman was too shocking. Many questions appeared in his mind. Lin Feng sensed the woman's location, then changed his course and chased after her. He didn't know how long he chased after her. Suddenly, the ancient starry sky ship shook violently. The ancient starry sky ship seemed to have collided with something, or it seemed to have passed through a violent starry sky storm. Finally, the ancient starry sky ship rushed out of the region where the starry sky ship had been. The voice disappeared. Lin Feng could no longer sense the mysterious woman. We've returned to the right direction, Du Zhu shouted excitedly. Lin Feng also let out a long breath. He had finally found the right direction. As for the mysterious woman, he stopped thinking about that woman's identity. She might exist in this world. Or perhaps, she was just a mark left behind by time. The ancient starry sky ship continued on its journey. About a day later, Lin Feng saw an incomparably huge ancient starry sky ship appear in front of them. Such a huge ancient starry sky ship? It's probably the ancient starry sky ship of a superpower, right? Du Zhu said. Lin Feng and the others sped up and chased after it. But when they got close to the huge ancient starry sky ship, Lin Feng immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. 36 chains were tied to the back of the ancient starry sky ship. The 36 pitch-black thick chains were wrapped around a cyan stone coffin. A cyan stone coffin. A stone coffin that buried a great emperor. Chapter 1481. The cyan coffin was extraordinary. Lin Feng and the poison ancestor had already seen it in the depths of the holy mountain of the great world. Now, this was the second time they had seen a cyan stone coffin. The cyan stone coffin that buried a great emperor had many secrets. Now that the ancient ship was pulling the coffin, was the science stone coffin empty? Or did it bury a great emperor? Who are the people on this ancient ship? They're actually pulling a science stone coffin. Could they have found it in the astral plane? Are they trying to pull it back to their race? Du Zhu muttered. Lin Feng rubbed his chin. He felt that Du Zhu's theory was quite plausible. Du Zhu continued, "What do we do now? Should we go up and greet them?" Lin Feng asked. "Perhaps they've already discovered us?" Du Zhu said, "Then let's go up and see what they're up to." The Spectre Star Sea is extremely strange. Our ancient ship is too small, so it's difficult for us to resist all sorts of evil. This is also the reason why we entered the ancient path to the netherworld. If we can leave the Spectre Star Sea with this ancient ship, our chances of leaving the Spectre Star Sea will be much higher. Lin Feng nodded. He agreed with Du Zhu. Although they had already escaped from the ancient path to the netherworld, they were still in the Spectre Star Sea. However, they were still unable to leave the Spectre Star Sea. The Spectre Star Sea was filled with danger. Perhaps there were even more terrifying dangers waiting for them. Thus, leaving on this ancient ship was the best option. Lin Feng and the others got closer and saw the flag on the ancient ship. This ancient ship was called the Ancient Evildoer. It was a rather strange name. Perhaps there was some meaning behind it. Lin Feng's ancient ship was originally called the Flying Cloud. Elder Chu had probably given it that name. Now, Lin Feng had changed it to Sovereign. Of course, Lin Feng's Sovereign couldn't compare to the Ancient Evildoer. The Ancient Evildoer was over 1,000 meters long and 300 to 400 meters tall. Lin Feng's Sovereign was only 15 meters long. It was simply too small. When Lin Feng's Sovereign approached the Ancient Evildoer's ancient ship, the Ancient Evildoer's ancient ship suddenly stopped. Suddenly, the ancient demonic ship disappeared without a trace. Oh no, they've changed course and left. Lin Feng's expression changed slightly. He didn't know if the people on the Ancient Evil didn't want Lin Feng's ship to follow them, or if they were going to change course in the first place. Lin Feng chased for a while, but he couldn't catch up to the Ancient Evildoer. "He's too fast. He disappeared without a trace," Lin Feng said helplessly. Du Zhu said, "That ancient starry sky ship looks very advanced, so it's normal that our small ship couldn't catch up to it." Any ancient starry sky ship was incomparably precious. Even Lin Feng's small boat had an unimaginable value. Of course, the supreme title was just a little small, but it wasn't that bad. Du Zhu called it a small boat as a form of self-mockery. The supreme title continued to fly through the Death Star Sea, and after 3 more days, it still couldn't leave the Death Star Sea. Lin Feng sat in the cabin and studied the ancient starry sky map. Du Zhu said, "We can't leave after so long. It seems like we're really in trouble. We won't be trapped here forever, right?" This was also what Lin Feng was worried about. But now, Lin Feng also couldn't find a way to leave the Death Star Sea. A loud rumbling sound came from the front, and Lin Feng and Du Zhu were alarmed. They rushed out of the cabin. When they reached the deck, they looked into the distance and saw the Ancient Evildoer appear again. This ancient ship is really strange. It disappeared without a trace before, as if it was deliberately avoiding us, but now it's appeared again. What are the cultivators on the Ancient Evildoer planning? Du Zhu muttered. Although the poison ancestor was usually very unruly, he was actually quite a troublemaker. But in reality, he was very cautious. In the past, he was suppressed. He almost died. It wasn't easy for him to escape, so Du Zhu cherished his life very much. Lin Feng said, "The cultivators on the ancient ship didn't attack us directly, which means they don't want to attack us. As for why they appeared again after leaving, it's hard to guess. Let's go up and take a look." Du Zhu nodded. Lin Feng pushed the supreme title's speed to the maximum and finally caught up with the Ancient Evildoer. "Fellow cultivators on the ship, can you give us a ride? This one will reward you generously," Lin Feng shouted. But there was no response from the ancient ship. "You're quite arrogant. You actually ignored us and let me do it," said the poison ancestor. Lin Feng simply let Du Zhu do it. "People on the Ancient Evildoer, listen up. We want to ride on your ship. Come out and welcome us," Du Zhu shouted. Du Zhu's shout was a little arrogant, but it was in line with Du Zhu's personality. But still, no one on the Ancient Evildoer answered. Something's not right with this ancient ship. Lin Feng felt that something was very wrong with the ancient ship. The ancient ship was pulling a coffin, and it was the most mysterious cyan coffin. It was too strange. Moreover, they were in the death astral sea. Suddenly, Lin Feng thought of a possibility, but he didn't dare to confirm it. He looked at Du Zhu and said, "Didn't you say that a great emperor fell in the death astral sea?" Du Zhu nodded. "Yes, it's a legend passed down from generation to generation." Lin Feng pointed at the cyan coffin with 36 chains at the back of the ship. Poison Ancestor sucked in a breath of cold air and said, "You suspect that the legendary Great Emperor is buried in that cyan stone coffin?" Lin Feng said, "It's not impossible. We haven't been able to leave the Death Astral Sea for a long time. Now that we've come across this ship, there are indeed many strange things about it. So, I think what you said is very possible." Du Zhu said after thinking for a while, "Whether or not the ancient evildoer is as we speculate, we'll know once we get on board." Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at the ancient evildoer. Lin Feng felt more and more that there was something wrong with the ancient ship, but he couldn't pinpoint what exactly was wrong. It was a very strange feeling. Du Zhu agreed to go and take a look. Lin Feng had his clone drive the ancient ship behind them. Then, he and Du Zhu flew to the ancient evildoer. A cold and gloomy aura surged out from the ancient evildoer's cabin. Lin Feng and the Poison Ancestor gazed into the cabin of the ancient evil. It was pitch black inside, like a black hole that could swallow life. It was emitting a terrifying aura. Chapter 1482. Lin Feng had already guessed that there was something strange about the ancient ship, so he didn't make too much of a fuss. Lin Feng and Du Zhu carefully entered the ship. As they approached the cabin, a cold and gloomy aura enveloped them, making Lin Feng feel as if he had fallen into a bottomless abyss. It was a terrible feeling, and he didn't know what was inside the ship. In the end, Lin Feng and the Poison Ancestor entered the cabin. It was gigantic, so the cabin was gigantic. It was divided into 30 floors, and there were many rooms. After entering the cabin, Lin Feng saw some corpses scattered on the ground. They had long decayed and turned into dust when he stepped on them. "It seems like the people inside are indeed dead, but I don't know how they died." Lin Feng slightly frowned. Du Zhu said, "I'm afraid something unknown happened in the past. I just don't know if there are any clues left behind." Lin Feng said, "Let's not talk about the past for now. Let's look around and see if we can find any treasures." This was something that Lin Feng was eager to do. Cultivators would never complain about having too much wealth, and Lin Feng was no exception. He and Du Zhu entered many rooms on the ancient ship. Although there were corpses on the ship, there weren't many of them. They only saw a dozen or so corpses, and when they found their storage rings, they found that the space inside the rings had collapsed. Since the rings were destroyed, Lin Feng naturally couldn't obtain the wealth inside. However, he didn't know if the rings were damaged because of time or some other reason. If it was because of time, then the ancient demonic ship's history might be much longer than he had imagined. Lin Feng and Du Zhu opened a treasury. There were all kinds of treasures inside, such as divine stones, immortal iron, large amounts of spirit stones, star stones, similar to spirit stones. They were condensed from the power of the stars and could be used for cultivation, spirit fruits, medicinal herbs, pills, and piles of Dao tools. There were even many semi-divine tools and a few divine tools. In the past, this ancient ship must have been to many places because the planets that produced star stones and spirit stones were often very far away. Du Zhu said. Lin Feng nodded and began to collect the treasures. The pills, herbs, and spirit fruits have all been destroyed. "It seems that time has eroded them and cut off their vitality," Lin Feng said. He was obviously a bit regretful. However, Lin Feng didn't care. Since they were destroyed, it meant that he wasn't fated to obtain them. The rest of the treasures were piled up like mountains, and they were all collected by Lin Feng. They exited the treasury and continued to head deeper into the depths, searching for a new treasury. When they arrived at a large hall, Lin Feng and Du Zhu stopped. They looked into the depths and felt their scalps go numb. A woman in snow-white clothes stood at the entrance of the hall, her back facing them. She was a peerlessly beautiful woman. Even though they only saw her back, they could guess that her beauty was unparalleled in the world. And now, she stood at the entrance of the hall, motionless. She didn't even look back. Lin Feng and Du Zhu kept retreating. This ancient ship was too strange. Why was there a woman? It was terrifying and moving. Who was this woman? Had she been living on this ancient ship all this time? Or was she the same as them? Had she passed through the stars and boarded the ancient ship? Suddenly, the woman disappeared without a trace. Just like that, she silently left under Lin Feng and Du Zhu's eyes. Something's not right. She doesn't seem human. Could it be an imprint or an illusion left behind in the past? Lin Feng said, frowning slightly. He felt that something was wrong. The poison ancestor also sensed that something was amiss, and he said, "It might be as you guessed. I didn't sense any life aura from that woman." Lin Feng said, "Then let's go in and take a look." He and Du Zhu cautiously entered the hall. The hall was very large. However, the decorations were very simple. After entering the hall, Lin Feng and Du Zhu discovered that there was a skeleton sitting cross-legged in the middle of the hall. The skeleton was slender, and it was obviously a woman. Could it be that the woman we saw just now was the imprint left behind by this skeleton? Lin Feng muttered. This was very likely, and Lin Feng even felt that it was highly probable. Too much time had passed, and the woman's body could no longer be preserved. Her flesh had dried up and decayed, and only her skeleton remained. Lin Feng took off her storage ring and carefully sensed it. He discovered that the space within the ring had already been destroyed. Lin Feng felt that it was a pity. This woman should have been extremely powerful when she was alive, and she should have had many treasures. However, they were not fated to be with her. Look, her bones are broken. Even her spine is broken. She must have suffered a fatal injury when she was alive. Du Zhu said after inspecting her body. Lin Feng looked over and discovered that this was indeed the case. He frowned slightly and said, "This woman was actually killed by someone. Did she die with the others?" Of course, all of this was an unsolved mystery. It was too far away, and no one could answer Lin Feng's questions. Lin Feng was shocked because he discovered that the woman was holding something in her hand. Lin Feng pried open the woman's hand and took out a pendant. She's still holding it in her hand even when she's dying. It must be very important to her, right? Lin Feng muttered to himself. He carefully examined the pendant. Suddenly, he discovered a small line of words on the pendant. The bright moon and the horizon will not meet. Don't laugh without a bosom friend on the road ahead. The words Lord Grimm were also written at the end. Lord Grimm? Lin Feng frowned slightly, puzzled. Did this pendant belong to someone called Lord Grimm? But why was it in the woman's hand? Could it be that the woman was in love with this cultivator called Lord Grimm? Seeing that the woman was still holding the pendant before she died, Lin Feng felt that things might be as he had guessed. What's written on the pendant? Du Zhu asked. Lin Feng handed the pendant to Du Zhu. The bright moon and the horizon will not meet. Don't laugh without a bosom friend on the road ahead. Du Zhu softly read the 2 lines of words on the pendant. When he saw the name of the pendant, Du Zhu was shocked. Lord Grimm. This is a legendary great emperor. This pendant is a relic of a great emperor? Lin Feng asked in shock. Du Zhu nodded and tried to channel his magic power into the pendant, but to no avail. The pendant didn't seem to be a treasure, as it couldn't absorb magic power. Du Zhu handed the pendant to Lin Feng. Lin Feng studied it for a while, but he couldn't find anything special about it. Since I can't channel my magic power, I wonder if I can use a drop of blood to refine it? Lin Feng asked. He cut his finger and dripped a drop of blood onto the pendant. The drop of blood was absorbed by the pendant. Buzz. Suddenly, the pendant emitted a violent energy fluctuation. This is? Lin Feng's eyelids twitched violently. Chapter 1483. Divine Light Intertwined. And the pendant underwent a shocking transformation. Waves of divine light enveloped Lin Feng and Du Zhu. In an instant, Lin Feng felt as if he was being pulled into a mysterious world by the pendant. Kill! Deafening battle cries resounded through the skies. Lin Feng looked over and discovered that he had arrived at a planet. A war between planets was taking place here. In the Outerverse, this was a very common occurrence. Wars between planets were often fought over resources. In the Outerverse, there were more small planets with life. Hence, wars between planets would often erupt. The planet that was being besieged clearly could not hold on any longer. A group of elders escorted a dozen or so youths as they fled in different directions. They wanted to preserve the planet's bloodline so that its legacy would not end here. More and more people were caught and killed. In the end, only a few elders managed to escape while protecting a young girl. However, they were also pursued by the enemy. The elders could not hold on any longer and died one after another. Just as the young girl thought that she was definitely going to die, a man appeared and saved her. "I no longer have a home. Can I follow you?" the young girl asked. The man was silent for a long time before saying, "Live in anonymity. That way, you can still live well." The man left, but the young girl continued to follow behind him. "Why are you following me?" the man asked. "I want to stay by your side," the young girl said. The man had no choice but to bring the young girl to travel through space. 3 years later. "That's my homeland. I've lived here for a long time." The man looked at a planet with life as he spoke. He had returned to his homeland, but his heart was heavy. The young girl could sense the complex emotions in his heart. He was melancholic and sorrowful. The man stood there for a long time in a place filled with blooming cherry blossoms. "What are you looking at?" the young girl asked. The man replied, "I'm looking at my past self." In the distance, there was heavenly music that interweaved in one's ears. Dozens of beautiful maidservants surrounded the man. 9 winged horses pulled a divine chariot over. "We should leave," the man said. He seemed unwilling to see certain people. He left with the young girl. "Is he back?" A beautiful woman walked down from the chariot. "You are clearly unhappy. Why did you come back?" The girl's mind was very meticulous. She had discovered something. Now, her voice was faint, and her mood had become very bad because of some things that she had speculated in her heart. She had been by the man's side for 3 years and had experienced too many things. She already had some special feelings for him, even if the girl knew that the man only treated her as a little sister. That was because even though 3 years had passed, she was only 16 years old. This is the best age. The first awakening of love. He would worry for his lover, be sad for his lover, and give up everything for his lover. "My ancestors and parents were buried in my homeland. This is my roots," the man said. The girl didn't say anything and just listened quietly. "If there comes a day when I die, I will turn into a pile of dirt and be buried in my hometown with my parents and ancestors," the man said softly. But now, he no longer had any relatives in his homeland. Maybe in the past, he still had a few friends. But now, he didn't even have any friends left. "I plan to go to a place where I can't take care of you. Stay here and cultivate well," the man said. He took out a pendant and said, "Take this token and go to the extreme north to find a granny called Qian Ji Shui. She will take you to cultivate." The girl understood the man's personality very well. She knew that the man had made his decision, and the place he was going to was definitely more dangerous than he could imagine. Therefore, he couldn't take her there. At this moment, the girl wished that she was a powerful cultivator and could help him. "I will cultivate well." The man nodded. "Good. I might come back soon." The man rubbed the girl's head and left. Time passed. The girl cultivated with all her might, wanting to become strong as soon as possible so that she could find the man. After so many years on this planet, the girl went to the cherry blossom tree many times. She saw another woman and found out many things about her. That woman was the man's fiancée. Merely, the young woman discovered that the woman was secretly having a tryst with another man. In the past, under the cherry blossom tree, the man's fiancée saw him off. On the day of his return, under the same cherry blossom tree, he saw his former lover and his former best friend playing with each other. He didn't show himself and silently left. Many years later, he returned with the girl. About 100 years later, a major event happened in the starry sky world. Someone successfully proved his Tao and became a great emperor. 10,000 realms came to congratulate him, and the starry sky respected him. A great emperor was enough to illuminate the boundless universe and become the strongest ruler in the world. This great emperor was the pendant's owner, Lord Grimm. He had returned to his homeland. The girl of the past had grown into a slender and elegant woman. Grimm, you're finally back. His fiancée had arrived, and he was very excited. His good friend had also come to congratulate him. It was as if nothing had happened between them. Both the man and woman knew what a great emperor represented. Being on good terms with a great emperor meant a noble status, endless wealth, and a status that countless people looked up to. High and mighty, looking down at the countless star fields in the starry sky world. "How have you been all these years?" Lord Grimm asked. He seemed to be relieved, but who could understand the pain in his heart? He hadn't returned for so many years, and he still couldn't let go. This betrayal hurt him greatly. However, these two people were the people he trusted the most and were the closest to him. "Grimm, I've always missed you. Under the cherry blossom tree, I've waited for you for many years," his fiancée said in a very calm manner. "You're shameless." The girl was called Qing Xian. She had grown up a long time ago and wasn't as weak as before. Although she had only cultivated for a short time, she was very strong. When she saw that the woman in front of her was still trying to deceive Lord Grimm, Qing Xian was furious. She slapped the woman's face. "You dare hit me? Who do you think you are?" The woman was very angry. Her eyes could kill. "Do you think others don't know what you've done? Bitch." Qing Xian cursed. Lord Grimm's good friend and fiancé's expressions changed drastically. They left dejectedly. Lord Grimm didn't stay in his homeland for too long. Perhaps he had already seen through everything and wouldn't blame those two anymore. It was just that they were like strangers now. Lord Grimm entered the starry sky world again. After Lord Grimm left, someone cut off the two people's heads and gave them to Qing Xian, perhaps to curry favor with her. Many people knew that after becoming a great emperor, Lord Grimm had returned to his homeland for Qing Xian. Chapter 1484. Perhaps the most vulnerable thing in this world was the relationship between a man and a woman. Distance, money, temptation, unwillingness to be lonely, and so on would cause a drastic change in a relationship. Therefore, between a man and a woman in this world, there were too many people who betrayed their loved ones and had sex with other men or women. If there was a first time, there would be a second time. This was the beginning of the fall. Seeing the heads of that adulterous couple being sent over, although Qing Xian felt very relieved, she felt even more heartache for Lord Grimm. For so many years, Lord Grimm had been hurt by this adulterous couple. Was it worth it? After Lord Grimm became a great emperor, Qing Xian cultivated even harder. She wanted to become a woman worthy of Lord Grimm. There was a sense of urgency in her heart. She worked hard to cultivate. Finally, one day, Qing Xian cultivated to the realm of a giant god. A female giant god. Her status was high. Qing Xian finally mustered up the courage to look for Lord Grimm. She entered the outer realm and roamed the starry sky. She followed the ancient starry sky path and went to many places that Lord Grimm had been to. She kept asking about Lord Grimm's whereabouts. The wasteland. He went there. Later, Qing Xian finally found out about Lord Grimm's whereabouts. The wasteland was an extremely terrifying place. Rumor had it that it was an abandoned place. There were also rumors that the wasteland was connected to the otherworld, immortal, underworld, chaos, and Xinhuang realms. Even great emperors wouldn't easily set foot in that place, because it was too dangerous. The otherworld, immortal, underworld, chaos, and Xinhuang realms were legendary worlds that surpassed the 3,000 great worlds. Danger lurked everywhere. It was hard to imagine how powerful the creatures inside were. Therefore, the wasteland connected to the four realms. Even great emperors might not be able to come out. Despite knowing the dangers of the wasteland, Qing Xian still went to the wasteland regardless of the danger. She didn't want to hide her feelings anymore. Ever since Lord Grimm rescued her in despair when she was 13 years old, she had liked Lord Grimm. As time passed, this liking turned into love. But Lord Grimm was too outstanding, and Qing Xian felt that she wasn't worthy of Lord Grimm. Therefore, in this life, she cultivated desperately. Now, 1,000,000 years had passed. She finally cultivated to the realm of a female giant god. She didn't want to continue waiting. She wanted to immediately express her feelings to Lord Grimm. The wasteland was very dangerous. This place was filled with endless killing intent. Qing Xian entered the wasteland, carefully and arduously surviving in the wasteland. She went to many places to inquire about Lord Grimm's whereabouts. 100 years passed by in a flash. Qing Xian finally found out about Lord Grimm, but this news nearly caused her to collapse. 3 years ago, a war between sovereigns erupted in the wasteland. Lord Grimm was killed by 3 sovereigns from foreign worlds. His corpse fell into the Emperor Burial Abyss in the depths of the wasteland. Rumor had it that more than one martial monarch was buried in the Emperor Burial Abyss. That was a place where everyone's expression changed when they talked about it. No one dared to enter the buried Emperor Abyss. However, Qing Xian did not hesitate and risked her life to enter the Emperor Burial Abyss. She saw Lord Grimm's corpse in the Emperor Burial Abyss. She laid in front of Lord Grimm's corpse and cried bitterly. In order to catch up to Lord Grimm's footsteps, she had worked hard her entire life, bitterly cultivating. Now, when Qing Xian felt that she had the qualifications to stand by Lord Grimm's side, however, Lord Grimm had died. You said that if you died one day, you wanted to turn into a pile of dirt and be buried in your homeland with your parents and ancestors. I'll take you home. Qing Xian carried Lord Grimm's corpse out and found the cyan coffin. The ancient ship in the starry sky carried the cyan coffin back to their homeland. Some strong cultivators from foreign worlds had their eyes on Qing Xian. They would not let her take the corpse away. A great emperor's corpse is unimaginably valuable. It should be our food. The strong cultivators from foreign worlds said coldly and attacked the ancient evildoer. The cultivators on the ancient ship died one after another. As for Qing Xian, she ignited her long lifespan to increase her battle prowess. In the end, she paid the price of being heavily injured and on the verge of death, killing several experts from the foreign worlds. There were also several experts from the foreign worlds that were sealed within the ancient ship. In the end, I can't take you back to your homeland, Qing Xian murmured. As she died, tears of sorrow fell from her eyes. A female god had died just like that. The scene disappeared. Lin Feng was speechless for a long time. He could not calm down. This female god had worked hard all her life to catch up to Lord Grimm's footsteps. In the end, the result was so sad. She had worked hard all her life to see Lord Grimm with excitement, but what she saw was a cold corpse. Great emperors are not invincible, muttered Lin Feng. In the 3,000 great worlds, great emperors were supreme beings who looked down on the heavens. But in a place like the wasteland, there was the immortal world, the netherworld, the primal chaos Xianhuang world, and the most mysterious experts from foreign worlds. Great emperors could be killed. In this world, it was filled with too many secrets and too many terrifying experts. There really is a great emperor's corpse in the cyan coffin, said Du Zhu. His eyes were darting around. Obviously, he had other thoughts. Du Zhu said sadly, "It's such a touching story. Can you bear to watch them die and not be able to be together?" Lin Feng patted Du Zhu's shoulder and said, "I can't bear to. So let's open the cyan coffin and bury them together. This can be considered as fulfilling the female god's wish." Du Zhu nodded and said, "Young master, you're really a good person. My respect for you is endless." Lin Feng said, "It's just a small matter. It's not worth mentioning. Please don't praise me like that. I'll become arrogant." Du Zhu chuckled and said, "So, should we open the coffin now?" Lin Feng had no objections. He walked to the back of the ship with Du Zhu. They were going to open the cyan coffin. The 36 chains emitted a cold and sinister aura. They had been coiling around the cyan coffin since time immemorial. Du Zhu put his palms together and said, "Great Emperor, we're not being disrespectful by opening the coffin now. We just want to bury the female god who loved you so deeply together with you. Please don't blame us." Lin Feng also put his palms together and said, "Great Emperor, the two of you couldn't be together when you were alive, but I hope that you can be together after death. If you have anything you don't need, this junior will take it and temporarily keep it for you." Du Zhu muttered inwardly, "This kid seems even more shameless than me." He's actually saying that he's greedy for the great emperor's treasure in such a pure and noble manner. Even I can't compare to this level of shamelessness. Of course, Duzu wouldn't say this out loud. He and Lin Feng jumped onto the cyan coffin. Duzu asked, "What should we do now?" Lin Feng said, "I think we need to bring the cyan coffin onto the ancient ship. Otherwise, it won't be easy to open it." Chapter 1485. Duzu nodded and said, "All right, let's do it now. Let's work together to lift this sarcophagus up." After that, Lin Feng and Duzu flew to the bottom of the sarcophagus. The two of them carried the sarcophagus, intending to lift it onto the ancient ship. Powerful magic power surged out, wrapping around the sarcophagus. They used all their strength, but the sarcophagus didn't budge at all. "Holy shit! This cyan coffin is too strange. How heavy is it?" Duzu immediately cried out gloomily. Lin Feng said, "It's a sarcophagus that buried a great emperor, after all. It's indeed different." Following that, Lin Feng summoned his 3 poison clones to help lift the sarcophagus. However, they still failed. The sarcophagus still didn't budge. "Strange. This is too strange." Duzu cried out gloomily. Lin Feng decided to wake Bibi up. Perhaps the little guy would have a way. Bibi had been sleeping all this time. Lin Feng guessed that Bibi was about to evolve. This was because every time an exotic beast was about to evolve, they would become more sleepy. Many exotic beasts completed their final metamorphosis while they were asleep. Lin Feng tried to wake the little guy up. "Yeah, yeah." After Bibi appeared, it opened its sleepy, watery eyes and looked pitifully at Lin Feng. Then, it waved its little paws, and 2 50,000-year-old spirit fruits appeared in its paws. The little guy grabbed the spirit fruits and started munching on them, enjoying them very much. "This little guy isn't simple," Duzu muttered when he saw Bibi. However, when he thought about how Lin Feng was a freak, Duzu wasn't surprised by anything that happened around Lin Feng. After Bibi finished eating the spirit fruit, she burped, and her mental state became much more uplifted. Lin Feng rubbed Bibi's head and said, "Little guy, help us get this coffin up." "Yeah, yeah." Bibi called out a few times. Lin Feng understood what Bibi meant and said to Duzu, "Let's work harder and strive to succeed." Duzu nodded. Then, Lin Feng, Duzu, and the 3 poison puppets once again lifted the stone coffin. However, the sarcophagus was too heavy, so he still failed this time. At this time, Bibi waved her little claws and shot out 7-colored energy. The 7-colored energy wrapped around the sarcophagus. Suddenly, Lin Feng felt the pressure on his body lessen by a lot. Duzu felt the same way. They tried their best to lift the sarcophagus again. This time, the sarcophagus was finally shaken. An hour later, with Bibi's help, they finally managed to lift the sarcophagus onto the ancient ship with great difficulty. Then, Lin Feng and Duzu were almost paralyzed with exhaustion as they lay on the ancient ship and panted heavily. "This little guy is very extraordinary. The 7-colored light that he shot out seems to contain the power of time and space," Duzu said. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Indeed, Bibi is still young and is not particularly skilled in using her power. If we wait until Bibi grows up, she will definitely be extremely heaven-defying." Bibi seemed to be hungry again after being busy for a while. She took out a few spirit fruits and began to chew on them. The little guy ate happily. After resting for a while, Lin Feng put away the 3 poison puppets and began to study the chains outside the cyan sarcophagus. In order to open the sarcophagus, one had to first undo the chains wrapped around the sarcophagus. Lin Feng discovered that the chains wrapped around the cyan sarcophagus were very special. There were some extremely strange restrictions placed on them. This kind of restriction actually left him clueless. Strange. What kind of restriction is this? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Duzu knew that Lin Feng was a disciple of the Celestial Master's lineage. If it was a restriction that even Lin Feng couldn't break, then it must be extremely strange. "You can't open the restriction on the chains?" Duzu asked. Lin Feng nodded and said, "If we can't open it, then we can only forcefully split it open." He took out the black dragon sword. Clang, clang, clang. He slashed out 3 times in a row. A series of clanging sounds could be heard, but the chain was not damaged at all. The chains were abnormally sturdy, and it was unknown what material they were made of. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. If the Black Dragon Sword couldn't break the chains, then he would have to break the restrictions on them. This would require a relatively long time to study the restrictions, and he wasn't confident that he could break the restrictions in the end. "Let me give it a try," Du Zhu said. Lin Feng handed the Black Dragon Sword to Du Zhu. Du Zhu swung the sword at the chains. "Hold on," Lin Feng suddenly shouted. Du Zhu looked at Lin Feng in confusion and asked, "What's wrong? Did you discover something?" Lin Feng said, "I feel like something's not right." Du Zhu asked, "What's not right?" Lin Feng said, "The giant goddess buried the emperor in the cyan coffin, but there's no need to use 36 chains to bind the coffin, right? Moreover, she placed the coffin at the stern of the ship. This ancient ship pulling a coffin is just too strange. Are you suspecting that the giant goddess wasn't the one who tied the 36 chains around the coffin, and that the giant goddess wasn't the one who placed the coffin in the void?" Du Zhu asked. Lin Feng nodded. "That's right. That's why there's only one explanation. Someone else did it. Who do you think is the most likely person to do such a thing? A cultivator from another world?" Poison Ancestor sucked in a cold breath. "Yeah, yeah." At this moment, Bei Bei cried out loudly. He waved his little claws and pointed towards the cabin, a look of terror in his eyes. Dong, 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 dong. Footsteps could be heard coming from the ancient ship. Following that, a cold aura spread out. "Not good. Let's go," Lin Feng said in a low voice. He carried Bibi and rushed out of the ancient ship. Du Zhu followed closely behind, wanting to leave the ancient ship as well. However, at that moment, an energy barrier enveloped the entire ancient ship. Lin Feng and Du Zhu slammed into the energy barrier and were bounced back. "We're trapped." Du Zhu's expression turned extremely unsightly. Lin Feng took a deep breath and looked at the ancient ship with a grave expression. Black fog churned. Footsteps could be heard coming from afar. Finally, a terrifying creature walked out of the ancient ship. It was a huge creature, about 3 meters tall. Its body resembled a human's, but it had the head of a wolf. It also had 8 spidery claws on its back. A creature from another world. Lin Feng couldn't help but gasp when he saw the creature. His face turned extremely pale. Chapter 1486. Lin Feng didn't know where the other world was, but Lin Feng knew how powerful and terrifying it was. The lunar monarch had led the cultivators of the banished world to resist the invasion of the otherworld cultivators. Although they defeated the otherworld cultivators, they'd suffered heavy injuries that couldn't be healed with medicine. The great Emperor Lord Grimm had also been killed by the 3 sovereigns of the otherworld. From this, it could be seen how powerful and terrifying the otherworld was. The cultivators of a world that could contend against the 3 realms were naturally extremely powerful. The death of the giant goddess was also due to these otherworld cultivators. Although the giant goddess had used up all of her lifespan to increase her battle prowess, she was still heavily injured by these otherworld cultivators. Before she died, she'd managed to seal these otherworld cultivators with great difficulty. Clearly, these cultivators from the otherworld had successfully broken free. "Despicable creature, you've disturbed my slumber. I'm going to tear you to shreds." This strange otherworld cultivator's voice was cold and filled with endless killing intent. Then, he walked towards Lin Feng step by step. At this moment, Lin Feng discovered that something was wrong. This otherworld cultivator's footsteps were unsteady, and his body was extremely thin. Apart from his bones, it seemed like he was only left with a layer of skin. "Is this because he's hungry?" Lin Feng muttered. The otherworld cultivator was in an extremely weak state. When he walked, Lin Feng wondered if he'd fall to the ground in the next moment. Moreover, this otherworld cultivator had an extremely strange power on him. It was actually the power of a curse. Was this cultivator from a foreign world cursed? Curse. This was a word that no cultivator would dare to utter when talking about it. Curses were too strange. Once curses were involved, many things couldn't be explained clearly. just like this otherworld cultivator in front of him. Since he'd broken the seal, he could have left. Why? He didn't leave? And he was so hungry that he was only skin and bones? Even if he didn't leave, he could have eaten. There was no need to starve himself to this extent, right? Could it be that he had a tendency to harm himself? Lin Feng didn't know that this guy had a tendency to harm himself. Lin Feng guessed that this might be related to the curse. Seeing the otherworldly cultivator walking over, Lin Feng sneered and said, "You're already half dead. And yet, you dare say that you can rip this young master's body to shreds? The way I see it, there must be something wrong with your head. Not just that, it is seriously wrong. Are all the cultivators from your otherworldly world as arrogant as you? Lowly creature, if I wasn't cursed by the monarch corpse and couldn't leave the ancient ship to enjoy any food, would I have ended up in such a miserable state? You woke me up from my slumber. Do you know how many years I will have to live if I wake up?" The foreign world's being's voice was cold. He took a step forward and arrived before Lin Feng. A palm struck out towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng was already prepared for this. He used the earth-shrinking technique to dodge the attack of the foreign cultivator and sent Bibi back into the beast pouch. Then, Lin Feng activated the Death God armor to protect his body. At the same time, the 9 demons painting, the 3 poisonous puppets, and the regal sword tomb all flew out. In addition to Du Zu's cooperation, Lin Feng unleashed his most ferocious attack on the foreign world's cultivator. Bang, bang, bang. All sorts of powerful attacks blasted towards the foreign world's cultivator. The destructive energy drowned the foreign world's cultivator. The 9 demons painting also suppressed the foreign world's cultivator. The 3 treasured swords slashed towards the foreign world's cultivator. The foreign world's cultivator unleashed his might. The 8 spider-like claws on his back swung about, blocking the attacks of the 3 treasured swords and the 9 demons painting. Then, he opened his mouth and inhaled. In an instant, Lin Feng, Du Zu, and the 3 poisonous puppets' attacks were all swallowed by the foreign world's cultivator. Then, the foreign world's cultivator opened his bloody mouth and spat out the attacks that he had swallowed. These attacks blasted towards Lin Feng and the others. Lin Feng, the poison ancestor, and the 3 venomous puppets dodged the attack, but they were in a difficult situation. Du Zu could not help but curse. This guy is about to die, but he's still so powerful. Lin Feng nodded with a solemn expression. The foreign world's cultivator had been cursed for so many years, and now he was only skin and bones from hunger. Whether it was his combat strength or vitality, he had already fallen to the lowest point. However, even in such a terrible situation, he still displayed such powerful combat strength. Lin Feng was somewhat helpless. Lowly creatures, it's useless. You're too weak. Today, only death awaits you. The foreign world's creature's sinister voice sounded. He sent Lin Feng's 3 treasured swords and the 9 demons painting flying. Then, he rushed towards Lin Feng. This guy clearly wanted to get rid of Lin Feng first. Myriad Poison's Devil Monarch. Myriad Poison's Devil Monarch. Suddenly, Du Zu shouted coldly. A terrifying aura that seemed capable of destroying heaven and earth surged out from Du Zu's body. A tall figure appeared behind him. That mysterious existence took a step forward and waved his fist towards the foreign world's creature. Instantly, the starry sky began to collapse. Haha, I'll let you know my power. After using this divine ability, Du Zu, who had condensed into the Myriad Poison's Devil Monarch, seemed to be unusually excited. This Myriad Poison's Devil Monarch was not an ordinary person. This person had cultivated the Tao of poison to the point of being a master of creation. Du Zu had been able to shake the world back then because he had obtained the Myriad Poison's Devil Monarch's inheritance. Now, Du Zu was using this divine ability to summon the Myriad Poison's Devil Monarch's indestructible primordial spirit. This was also Du Zu's trump card. At this moment, the 3 poisonous puppets each condensed an Emperor technique. The 4-armed sacred demon fist, the 9 slashes of the demon emperor, and the myriad demon reincarnation fist. These were the Emperor techniques of the celestial demon clan. The 3 toxic puppets were controlled by Lin Feng. Since Lin Feng had learned this Emperor technique, the 3 toxic puppets could naturally use it as well. The three Emperor techniques blasted towards the foreign world's cultivator at the same time. At the same time, Lin Feng used the burning wrath of the heavens. The three types of heavenly fire compressed into a fireball that Lin Feng released. Boom! Then, the fireball exploded when it hit the foreign world's cultivator. Du Zhu's myriad poisons Devil Monarch's attack and the three toxic puppets Emperor techniques bombarded the foreign world's cultivator at almost the same time. With so many powerful divine abilities exploding at the same time, a terrifying destructive force drowned the foreign world's cultivator. It's done. Lin Feng and Du Zhu's eyes lit up slightly. This kind of attack is really too weak. The foreign world's cultivator laughed sinisterly as he walked out of the center of the explosion. His body had only suffered very light injuries. Seeing this, Lin Feng and Du Zhu couldn't help but feel a chill run down their spines. They had already used all their trump cards, but they still couldn't hurt the foreign world's cultivator. Wasn't this foreign world's cultivator too terrifying? Chapter 1487. Lin Feng felt that things were getting troublesome. It was hard to imagine that the foreign cultivator, who already had one foot in the coffin, still had such terrifying strength. This made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. Now, Lin Feng felt the threat of death. This foreign cultivator already had the strength to kill him. Even with Du Zhu's help, the three poison doppelgangers were no match for the foreign cultivator. The Divine Realm doppelgangers were now blocked by the light shield and could not enter to participate in this battle. Lin Feng still had the forbidden weapon, the purple lightning hammer, that he could use. However, the foreign cultivator in front of him was too powerful. Even if he used the purple lightning hammer, Lin Feng felt that it was impossible to defeat this foreign cultivator. Facing this foreign cultivator, Lin Feng really could not think of a good way to deal with him. However, at this moment, Lin Feng felt the back of his left arm start to heat up. In the past, in the Thunderblade's secret realm, so many people schemed and plotted against each other in order to obtain the Devil World's treasure, the ancient Devil Ring. Later, by chance, Lin Feng obtained the ancient Devil Ring. However, he found that the ancient Devil Ring was too strange. Therefore, Lin Feng threw away the ancient Devil Ring. However, what Lin Feng did not know was that the ancient Devil Ring he threw away turned into a Devil Ring pattern that was branded on his arm. Then, the pattern of the ancient Devil Ring also fused into his skin. However, now that the pattern of the ancient Devil Ring had appeared, waves of scorching energy gushed out from the pattern of the ancient Devil Ring. Lin Feng was shocked. He used his divine sense to sense what was on his arm that caused such a strange situation to occur. When he sensed the pattern of the ancient Devil Ring, his face changed slightly. Damn! The ancient Devil Ring! Lin Feng was shocked. He recognized the ancient Devil Ring immediately. This ancient Devil Ring was full of strange things. Back then, he had clearly thrown it away. How did this thing appear on his arm? Boom! At the same time, the foreign cultivator rushed over, a palm striking towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng wanted to evade, but he discovered that the foreign cultivators had locked onto him. He had no choice but to quickly condense a Devil Emperor's 9 slashes, sweeping it towards the foreign cultivators. Bang! The two sides fiercely collided. Lin Feng felt as if he had been hit by an immemorial divine mountain. Lin Feng's body was sent flying, and his arm was broken. Lin Feng hurriedly operated his immortal divine body to heal his injuries. You really are too weak. Killing a lowly creature like you is as easy as crushing an ant. The foreign cultivator's voice was ice-cold. He leapt out and quickly arrived in front of Lin Feng. He stretched out his hand towards Lin Feng's chest. This powerful strike landed on Lin Feng's chest. Due to the protection of the Death God armor, this strike did not penetrate Lin Feng's chest. However, the powerful force broke all the bones around Lin Feng's chest. Du Zhu saw that Lin Feng's situation was not good. He quickly rushed over and slapped the foreign cultivator's head. Immediately after, the 3 poisonous puppets also rushed over and attacked the foreign cultivator. Oomph! The foreign cultivator was abnormally strong. He swept out his right hand and directly sent Du Zhu and the 3 poisonous clones flying. Then, the foreign cultivator locked onto Lin Feng and charged towards Lin Feng again. This foreign cultivator must have seen that Lin Feng was the biggest threat, so he wanted to kill Lin Feng first. Lin Feng moved in advance and dodged the foreign cultivator's attack. He took a deep breath and activated his immortal divine body again. The broken bones around his chest were repaired. You lowly creature, you have some ability. You can actually take the initiative to repair your injured body quickly. However, what's the use of that? Your fate has already been decided, and that is to die at my hands. The foreign cultivator rushed towards Lin Feng again. We'll stop him. You go and break the restriction. Duzu shouted in a deep voice. The foreign cultivator was an existence that was almost impossible to fight against. Therefore, Duzu knew that the best way now was to stop the foreign cultivator while Lin Feng could break the restriction that enveloped the entire ancient ship. However, the restriction that enveloped the ancient ship was very powerful. The restriction transformed into an energy shield that was perfect and flawless. It was not an easy task to break such a restriction. However, no matter how difficult it was, this was the only way to survive. Lin Feng nodded and said, I will try my best to break the restriction as soon as possible. Wishful thinking. The foreign cultivator let out a sinister voice. This voice was mixed with deep disdain. In the next moment, the foreign cultivator took a step forward. A terrifying pressure spread out from the foreign cultivator's body. This pressure was like the might of an emperor. Duzu and the 3 poisonous puppets were enveloped by it, unable to break free. Not good, we're dead for sure. Duzu cried out in horror. The foreign cultivator once again arrived in front of Lin Feng and slashed down with his palm, directly locking onto Lin Feng. Lin Feng could not dodge and could only resist the foreign cultivator's attack. Lin Feng could feel how terrifying this attack was. This attack was much stronger than the previous ones. Therefore, in the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Feng knew that he could not resist, so he used the heaven-mending technique. Whoosh! Lin Feng instantly disappeared without a trace. The foreign cultivator's killing blow was dodged by Lin Feng just like that. Meanwhile, Lin Feng arrived behind the foreign cultivator. His palm spat out saber light. His right hand was like a saber as he slashed out with the heaven-splitting slash, directly slashing towards the foreign cultivator's neck. Lin Feng wanted to directly chop off the foreign cultivator's head. The power of this attack was naturally quite astonishing. However, when this attack struck the foreign cultivator's neck, the foreign cultivator was completely fine. On the other hand, Lin Feng's right hand was broken by a powerful shockwave. The foreign cultivator's body was too hard. It was so hard that it was difficult to injure him. TSK, 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 TSK. Despicable ant. With your little ability, you want to hurt this lord? You're really delusional. The foreign cultivator grabbed towards Lin Feng. At this moment of extreme danger, a black mist suddenly surged out from Lin Feng's body. The black mist directly enveloped the foreign cultivator's body. This is the power of the demon realm. How can you have the power of the demon realm in your body? The foreign cultivator let out a terrified cry. The demon realm was one of the 7 supreme realms of the 3,000 great worlds. Although the foreign cultivators did not dare to underestimate the demon realm was also extremely terrifying. Even the foreign cultivators did not dare to underestimate the demon realm. Now, the power that surged out of the ancient devil ring made the foreign cultivator horrified. He wanted to force the black mist out of his body, but he was shocked to find that he could not do it. Waves of destructive power were corroding the foreign cultivator's body. The foreign cultivator let out a terrified cry. His body quickly withered, and his life force was instantly devoured. The foreign cultivator turned into a pile of bones that scattered on the ground. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.